Whoa, motherfucking whoa. We back on occult motherfucking Sunday service on a Monday. Come to find out, shout out to my boy Jay Bothell. Go check out his channel. Hopefully he hop in the chat and I'll pin it to the top. If you're gonna be watching this on the replay, check, slide over and go to the live chat comments. My boy Jay Bothell said, bro, it's actually another chapter in there. There you go, right there. Jay, can you hear me, Jay Bothell? Jay Bothell hit me and said, bro, it's actually another chapter in there. I'm like, bro, no, it ain't nothing but the glossary. Nothing but the glossary. And like, no, like she going in on that. Oh, he said he could hear me. So he like, nah, she going in on that. So I'm like, fuck. Cause we reading this. Everybody voted to read this, Your Invisible Power, this weekend. So if you're catching this on a replay, we are doing a Occult Sunday service again this Sunday. This Sunday, we going the fuck in. All right? With this invisible power, create the life that you want. Motherfuckers acting like they so high and spiritual and they don't want nothing in the material life. That's because you lack understanding. And we gonna get to it. So, shit. Just to stick to the word, we're gonna finish up the whole book. I thought we finished the book last Sunday or the Sunday before last. Obviously, we didn't. So we finna go in on chapter 11. Chapter a motherfucking 11. Okay. Drop your link in here on J By here. Drop your link for your channel. For the ones that catch the replay. Because I know a lot of people at work right now, right? So for the ones that want to catch the replay, we're gonna go through it. I mean, they'll be able to see the link. Let's get to the right page. Hell, I thought we was done. Data. Let's see where we at with it. If y'all on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Obviously, it's there. It's my Gnosis. MYGNOSIS. Gnosis means knowing. We don't believe. We got to know. Let's get the right page pulling up though. Bit on the time schedule too. But I'm gonna try to make sure we get through this motherfucker. Damn, how many pages is this? There you go. The Esoteric glossary. Let me get my headphones in. So Jay By here is doing he's doing readings on his channel as well. And the tarot readings as well, as you just see in the chat. Great heart. None of these motherfuckers with this superficial ass, fake ass, egotistical ass shit when it comes to this spiritual shit. Real down to earth, heart really made of pure gold, heart chakra. Open. So I salute my guy. There it goes right there. Jehovah's Litness 777. That's it right there. So we got that going. If you're just tuning in, we finna finish up chapter 11. Chapter 11 over here. And shit, I don't see no reason why stop. Let's finish. I mean, why halt any longer? Chapter 11, the Esoteric glossary. Teaching on esoteric subject contains so many vaguely defined terms that it's advisable that those studying our group should know more precisely what we mean when we use certain of the keywords. Indeed, in some of our earlier papers, the meaning is not always as clear as it is to be. I'm about to read again. As some time elapsed, as usually happens, before the need of these definitions became evident. Kenner, peace, peace, peace. Appreciate you for showing up and standing on Cosmic P with us. Stay pushing peace. Stay standing on principles. Stay understanding that you are always operating in the standard operating procedure. We do not legislate from other groups, but the definitions we give are aligned with the principles behind our teaching and have now been shown by experience to be sound. This is what we mean when we standing on Cosmic P. This shit checks out across the board. They sound. These are sound principles that we stand upon. Refine your standards, lower your expectations. The tree is in the seed. And a couple more. But hold up. It does not follow, however, that esoteric publications in general use the term in exactly these meanings, and in fact, the same word with slightly varying significances may sometimes be found in the same publication, making it necessary for the serious reader to be wary lest he gain a false impression. If indeed, hold on, I forgot I can't post a link on this. And this is, yeah, okay. Yeah. I forgot. Okay. Boom. There we go. Start that. Boom. Right there. J. Raphael on the Rose of Flame. If indeed the authors knew exactly what impression they wished to give, the words we have in mind are set out below in some instances, and in some instances, information on the subject is added. Let's see here. The logos. What's the logos? The logos is used as meaning the solar logos, the god of our solar system, because we understand the logos of our solar system, of our universe, is just the conditioner. Listen, just the conditioner gives you all the conditions that you go through in life. That's not supreme. There's something more supremer than that, which in her context, she gives the great entity. The logos is conditioned by the great entity. We come directly from our what we call divine sparks, or our soul comes directly from the great entity, which is separate from the logos, from what people may be calling God here. See what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's levels to this shit when we didn't going inside of this occult shit. We come before the gods. Our soul comes before the gods. What's our soul? Our soul is pure consciousness, pure awareness. Sunshine chick, peace, peace, peace. Always great to see you here. S-O motherfucking P as usual. We standing on principle. So once we understand the logos, is a child of the great entity. All right. And it's only the conditioner of this universe, not the creator, but the conditioner, the sustainer. Tight shit. The logos is used as a meaning, meaning the solar logos, the god of our solar system. The god of the cosmos we describe as the first manifest, or the manifest, that works too. The Manus are primarily ethnological leaders on the inner planes of the great root races. They depicted in themselves some great idea or principle which was beyond the esoteric mission of the root race. There is more than one type of Manu or man. I think that's trying to say man, or maybe Manu. The Manu of a race is also the prototype or ideal man of a race. What's going on? What's going on? Everybody showing up. Empress Divine, appreciate you for showing up. Appreciate you for showing up, standing on principle. AZW, appreciate you for showing up, standing on principle. Come to find out, we had an extra chapter left, and if it wasn't for Jay Barthel coming through, if it wasn't for Jay Barthel hit me up in a DM like, hey, you missed out a whole chapter full of gems. I'm like, you a damn lie. You like, I'm not lying. Check it out. So I was on the way to the crib. Fuck it. Why not hop on live? Oh, there's the devil himself, Travis motherfucking Majors, my dog. What's happening? This is that cosmic doctrine talk. Peace, peace, peace. Oh, okay. Oh, you named your black cat Manu. Don Tree, peace, 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 bro. Always pushing cosmic motherfucking P. Don Tree got some dope ass rhymes too. If y'all ain't follow him on Instagram. Same name, Don Tree. Don Tree got some dope ass rhymes, freestyling that shit straight from the unmanifest to the manifest type shit. Oh, Don Tree said he signed up for the elemental course last night. That's what I'm talking about, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Straight spiritual authority. That's what I'm talking about, dog. Salute to you, my guy, for always staying true to yourself, bro, and standing on motherfucking principle and making sure that all your elemental become motherfucking winners, bro. Real shit. The true path to self-enlightenment. Some people are on it. Some people are here for entertainment. Don Tree is one of those ones who really own it. Obviously, everybody else here, but shout out to my guy, motherfucking Don Tree. Because you don't find no page like this if you just bullshitting. Well, it's a lie. People find all type of shit in this entertainment form. But you know, the ones that's really there and that's really doing that shit, you can see that shit. They stink of fucking self-realization. They smell of self-realization. Like you got a stanky ass self-realizing smell on you, my nigga. And I love it. God damn it. The Manu of the race is also the prototype of the ideal man of a race. And in the connection, the syllable man is in certain languages can be of extreme antiquity and significance. The Manus are of the first three swarms. Swarms of form, swarms of mind, the lords of form, lords of mind, and the lords of form, mind, and flame, right? The greatest year right here. That's what I'm talking about. Is the chat powerful? All this powerful energy in here. I didn't even expect it. Thought a lot to be caught on a replay. I love y'all motherfuckers. The Manus are the first three swarms, lords of flame, form, and mind. But not all of these lords are Manus. The Manus are indeed of Archangelic type with a multiple ego. Hey, nah, real shit, Trail. Real shit. That cosmic doctrine, bro. Niggas still gonna be unfolding, bro. That shit was fucking, bro. If y'all haven't, like, if I'm pretty sure, I'm talking about the people on the replay. I know everybody over here have. If y'all haven't, go do that book read. Order that shit off Amazon and do that book read with Trav. Go through there, bro. We was having, bro. That shit was a trippy ass moment in time reading the cosmic doctrine. So that's a book that will always be brought back and referred. It's always gonna be some source material or source material to integrate back into the curriculum of whatever books we studying. Let's see. Let me type it in. Oh, Milo, man, why you ain't on YouTube, Milo? Where you been at, man? Hold up. For the people that do. Let's see. Okay. This is the nearest approximation in words to the great beings. Their personalized forms, however, appeared in humanicized guise. That's why we get pictures of these goddamn angels looking like human beings. Look, even La Santisa Santa Muerte, even though she's a human skeleton. You see what I'm saying? The principle behind it. Remember, y'all, that's the form that the force enters in. The force enters into manifest reality through form. Consciousness, form, consciousness, force, and form. It is trippy. I was trippy. And that's interesting that she's giving a crash course here in the last chapter. Yeah, I damn near missed it, bro. Shout out to Jay Bothell, man. The masters. Okay, so we just talked about the logos. Let's talk about the masters. The masters are the preferred beings. So we got to understand that these archangelic forms are productions of the logos, not really what you call the creator. That's the sustainer. That's the, what's the word she used? The conditioner. The conditioner. This will be your demiurge if you believe in and if you're scared of that type shit, right? So we understand that these archangel, what's the names, come as the way she's breaking it down, seem to be breaking it down, is breaking down as what we call damn, what I was finna say about it, bro. They manifestations of the conditioner, which is the logos. Now, the masters. The masters are perfected beings of the human evolution who guide mankind and perform certain other work rather than enter into the rest. In yoga, what do we call them? What do we call them in yoga? Swamis, gurus, Lord Jesus Christ, logos, absolute, Manus, archangels, and Bria. Huh. That make yeah, that do make sense because the archangels are the archangelic realm is Bria. The mental plane, right? Yes, I got it right without having to look. The mental plane, Bria, the mental plane, absolute, the pure consciousness plane, the plane of pure consciousness, pure awareness, the causal plane, the causal plane. Let me say that, the causal plane. Shout out to all y'all masters in the motherfucking house, because you a master of your motherfucking life. Empress Divine said so, motherfucker, and I second that. Let's see. The masters are the perfected beings of the human evolution who guide mankind and perform certain other work, then enter into the rest. What are we doing here? What do y'all do in y'all life? Y'all bringing this shit to mankind. If y'all watch my story on Instagram, we talking about the greatest type of sacrifice that Sri Ramakrishna spoke about, or the Vedanta text spoke about, is the sacrifice of knowledge. Remember what we read in Cosmic Doctrine, where she spoke about sacrifice. I forgot what chapter that was. Trav can probably tell. I forgot what chapter that was, where she spoke about sacrifice is basically transmutation of one energy form into another. So when you taking this information, when I'm taking this information reading, when Trav taking this information reading, when you taking the information and reading it and applying it and giving it to people, sacrifice. You taking it in, you taking it in through a whole form of, you got to go through deletion, distortion, and generalization. You got to take it inward, have a realization with it, and bring it back out to be able to speak light into other people. That's a transmutation. Is that not alchemy? Is that not a sacrifice? Is that not Tifereth? Oh shit, look, Trav just said it. Tifereth. You see what I'm saying? Greatest form of sacrifice. Tifereth. That's Tifereth. Are you not a master? Is Tifereth not represented by the sacrifice God, or which we know popular on the west side of the whole world? The master. Jesus was a master. Whether I believe him in him or not, the story signifies and shows that he was a master teacher. The story, the mythology, which is the story of the soul when we understand mythology. Mythology is not, when you say that's a myth, that don't mean you taking it in wrong. That don't mean that don't mean take it as a lie, motherfucker. That's not what that means. That means it's a lie to you because you don't understand. You have not updated your senses. Hold on, what y'all talking about with Sunshine Chick? What she do? I missed it. I missed it, y'all. The masters are the perfected beings of the human evolution who guide mankind and perform certain other work rather than enter into the rest. They are of various types and grades. Remember that. The masters are various type and grades. So you can be somebody who's teaching on the elementary level of whatever the fuck it means. When you say that, it make you feel like derogatory, but you can teach on entry level. Me and Trav had a good talk. You can teach on certain levels for people who are advanced, and you can teach for people and have something in there for people who are brand new. See what I'm saying? Various levels and grades. It's all the work that we need, regardless. They do not become lords of humanity. Here we go, right here. The masters are the perfected human beings in evolution who guide mankind to perform certain other work than rather than enter into the rest. They are of various types and grades. They do not become the lords of humanity. In parentheses, see the cosmic doctrine. I'm not really a lord of humanity, but I do see the value in humanity. That I can say. And I love you motherfuckers. I really do. I ain't even got to know you. Because I understand that all is one, all is God. Everything is God. There's nothing else to be but other than God, motherfuckers. Get it? There's nothing else to be but that. All is Brahman. All is Shiva. All is Shakti. All is one. Damn, lead to gold. Hit different now. AZW. Hell yeah. I know nothing. SO motherfucking P. Appreciate you for showing up and pushing this cosmic P. Like the little kid said in the Matrix. Bending the spoon. See? Tight shit. Tight time we on. See the cosmic doctrine. She's telling you. So if you haven't read that book, I say get it. And because it's such a that shit is packed. That shit would have your ass thinking about one sentence he just said. You know what I'm saying? So it's great to have book reads. That's why we do these book reads. See what I'm saying? Might not understand one thing, like, damn, what is she saying? And you may be able to go back in your mind. It might be somebody in the comments that may say something, spark and help. This is like a seminar. This is a group thing. This is community here. This is community here. I'm in elementary and the alchemy shit hit different. Hey, guess what though? Guess what though? You following right along. You did what I'm saying? So then yeah, elementary, what it you may say, see, here's the thing, because like really no one really is, because it's all within. We pulling this shit out. We having a remembrance of this information. You see what I'm saying? So you just may need it's like a refresher course. You ain't elementary though. You been here and I done seen the comments that you done dropped in the chat. You ain't elementary. You ain't elementary. You just taking a refresher course this lifetime. That's all. Your ass showing up on Instagram. Bring your ass to YouTube to be exact. They do not become the lords of humanity until they have passed beyond all that is known as humanity. You can't become the lords of humanity until you have passed along all that is known as humanity. Even as no grade is established until the next is entered upon. You can't get into no grade until you finish the first one. I'm missing some shit. Okay, the divine spark. Now we about to get into the soul. What's the divine spark? Why do we always say the divine spark? The divine spark may be thought of as the outer space aspect of a cosmic atom stamped with the logordial impress. Until a high grade is attained, it may be considered for all practical purposes as being the cosmic atom. Until a high grade is attained, it may be considered for all practical purposes as being the cosmic atom, the immortal part of each one of us, rooted in the great unmanifest. What I just told you about earlier. What we come from is before the gods. It's older than the gods. This is what Bobby Hemming told us. The Titans. This is what the story of the Titans in Greek mythology is. They came before the gods. They just had to play it out in the story and give you mythology. It's a story. It's a story. That's the only way that you can take it in, right? It's the immortal part of each one of us. Over here, you get over into the Vedantic text. They get talking about Brahman. Everything is Brahman. I'm Brahman. You're Brahman. Well, I think Vivekananda says some shit like, but no, Brahman is not in everything. Everything is Brahman. So it's not a little piece of Brahman in everything. Everything is Brahman. It is only Brahman. It is only God. Hopefully that sunk into the subconscious mind. The immortal part of each one of us, rooted in a great unmanifest, which is pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure potential, right? of the same essence of the logoi, but vastly junior in development, etc. The individuality, here we go. We read this the other night, right? The individuality or higher self. Did we read this the other night? Whatever other day I did a live stream. The individuality or higher self is a unit of an evolution. So listen, your individuality in your higher self, it's a unit. What does that mean? If it's a unit, that means it's objective. Even to, but check this out. The higher self is an object. It's an object. It's an object to pure untapped consciousness, pure awareness. It's objective. It is aware. That's what I said on my story. Your mind is not, we think that the mind, I am the mind. You more, what you are is past the mind. The mind is getting observed. I broke down my experience, how I had an experience of that. The mind is getting observed, right? And something's doing the observing, and that's pure consciousness. What Trav say? Empress Divine say everything is everything. Individuality, higher self, right? Personality, lower self-esteem, not low self-esteem, but lower self-esteem, right? Let's see. That's why I gotta go inside to get guidance from my higher self. That's facts. Personality, lower self, right? Yeah. The only the only way out of this matrix is in. See, you saying some shit that don't sound elementary to me. You hear some of these other motherfuckers that ain't elementary. So many people cannot accept that reality. Facts. So you're not sounding elementary to me, Empress Divine. I don't know who you are if you follow me on Instagram or whatnot, but if you don't follow, I like people that actually, you know what I'm saying? I love every goddamn body, and you tapped in, and I appreciate that any person that's tapped in. We got to build strong, got to be forward tough. So tap in. If not, YouTube is fine as well. I just want to make sure I can tap in and see the people that always show up and support faithfully and actually on that path, right? Let's read this. Let's read what Jay Barthel said. A Rose of Flame said, I've started going to this therapy group, and it's profound to see the way so many people are reinforcing their own personal hell. Me and Trey, we just had a good talk about that too. Like, but that's a real reality. People enforcing their own fucking hell on themselves. If you're just joining, hit the like button, drop a SOP in a chat. We appreciate you. We standing on principle. We doing the standard operating procedure. We're standing on purpose. Cosmic P pushing. But I know firsthand how easy it is to suck yourself into that. No, facts. That's facts. That's facts. It's very easy. Let's see. It's like a black hole that you created, right? That you created. But there is a way. People just don't know that they have choices. And hopefully we become those type of people that can help enlighten, bring light into that darkness of those people. But even that darkness is much so needed. He said, we do not become heaven and hell. We become it. We do not go to heaven and hell. We become it. Everybody say S-O motherfucking P. S-O-P. Let's see. Okay. So now she says, the individuality or higher self is the unit of an evolution. Even that is objective on the grander schemes of things, right? Consisting of the bodies of the highest three planes using 7-plane system, or what they call in the yogic text, the locus, right? Using the 7-plane system organized around the divine spark. You gotta understand, bro. They get all they shit from the motherfucking from the eastern shit, man. That ancient divine shit over there out east. And remember, from my research and what I've seen, for what I heard Bobby say, hey, for those people that need, they stole our stuff. Hey, man, listen, man, check this out, man. Say, man, you don't know, man. Them the pre-dynastic Kushites that went over there. The pre-dynastic Egyptian Kushites went on over there to the Indus Kush. Nigga, why you think it's called Indus Kush? She said it in this book. She brought it up. She said ancient Eastern mystics even give they give up the big ups to those that came from Egypt. And it's also in The Serpent Power by Avalon or Arthur Avalon, Sir Woodruff, right? So, but now guess what? We got all the information here. You can click on my Gnosis YouTube page and get it. You can click on Travis Major's page and get it. You can still go to Brother Panic page and get it. You can go to Sirius Media Time and get it. You can go to Jay Bothell page, Jehovah Litness 77 and get it. It's here. The lower self, personality, or protection or projection, the lower self, right, which is the personality, or the projection is the unit of an incarnation consisting of the bodies of the 4 lower planes in a 7-plane system. Its experiences are absorbed in essence after physical death by the higher self. Akashic records, it gets absorbed in at a certain point. Now, remember what I said about dreamless sleep state? When it's still, my theory is still that's what happens when you go into dreamless sleep state. It's transferring information, it's absorbing in the information. But this alone does not determine the next projection, as the higher self has phases of development between incarnation. So the higher self is having phases of development between incarnation. That's what I was saying to Empress Divine. In your elementary, you're having a refresher course. You see what I'm saying? Because you hit different phases of development. And sometimes you're like, damn, maybe in that lifetime you played around a little too much and didn't take it as serious, but you got the information. So you're like, okay, come back into this life and you get it. That's why you can automatically, you know what I'm saying, be able to catch on to shit way quicker. All right. His phases of development between incarnations, based largely on pre-incarnatory or evolutionary experiences, which also influence the next projection, which also influence the next reincarnation. If you ask me what she's saying, let's read that sentence again. Self, the higher self, but this alone does not determine the next projection, right? So after whatever you do inside this incarnation and those experiences observed until after physical death by the higher self does not alone determine the next projection, as the higher self has phases of development between incarnation, based largely on pre-incarnatory, or evolutionary experiences, which also influence the projection. Hopefully I'm coming through. I don't think I'm breaking up. The soul is one of the words most frequently used with differing meanings. Let's see what we talking about when we talk about the soul here, y'all. We use it as signifying the inner plane, the inner aspects of the personality, plus the outer aspects of the higher self. Let's see. Let's highlight that. Let's see. Let's see where she's going with this before I jump to what I want to say. So she's saying the soul, we use it as signifying the inner aspects of the personality, the inner aspects of the lower self, and the outer aspects of the higher self. It is, in fact, the unit of evolution up to a certain point beyond Hesed, is what she says. It is, in fact, the unit of evolution up to a certain point beyond Hesed. The personality aspects of it are or should be absorbed in essence by the higher self at death. And the soul itself conditioned thereby for its next incarnation. Okay, let me not say that. This is capable of much wider exposure. It can be considered as the vehicle of evolving man, as far as the abyss on the tree of life in its state at death and after has much to do with a personality projected by the higher self. Let's read that again. It can be considered as the vehicle of evolving man, as far as the abyss on the tree. So the soul, what she's telling you, what they've been talking about the soul, when we reading occult information, we thinking the soul goes beyond. The soul does not, based off of what she's saying. And that's when I ran into Trav page earlier last year. He was talking about these different parts of the soul. Well, what may be more superior may be the spirit. So maybe it was switched up, learning from what we learned from Bobby. See what I'm saying? Hopefully that you can take that and understand that and do your own fucking research. Some people can't take that because listen, Bobby is my motherfucking OG. All due respect, I ain't ran into no shit that was false that he told. But what if what we are come to talking about is the soul, is this eternal part, it don't get past Doth? Because once you get into this Eastern philosophy or Vedic philosophy or Vedic or the Gang yoga or Jananga, Jungya yoga, we get to dealing with and understanding that the only thing that is awareness. And I know that's what we talking about when we talking about the soul. But let's look at the way that they actually using the word soul, right? Let's go again. It can be considered as the vehicle of evolving man as far as the abyss on the tree of life in its state at death and after has much to do with the next personality projected by the higher self. Certain pathologies of esoteric nature affecting future incarnations are possible from wrong actions and attitude of the mind by it during incarnation and after death. We're talking about karma, right? We're talking about karma, right? Am I missed something? Just double checking. I don't know what you're talking about, Rose of Flame. I missed it. And after death, root races can be root races can be used for the original race from which spring the sub races. The root race can be used for the original race from which the sub races. Hold up. Yeah, can be used as the root from which the original race. Now, goddamn, let me read it again, y'all. Root races can be used for the original race from which spring the sub races. Oh, okay, okay. It often refers to the 7 great divisions of the Atlantean race. Here we go, J. Bothell. It often refers to the 7 great divisions of the Atlantean race, and the racial prototypes were further developed in the post-Diluvian world into the main racial families known esoterically. As a term, root race can be also referred to the 4 color divisions of mankind. Brandon Lashbrook says it sounds like cosmic. It sounds like Blavatsky, and I do know, and we know about Blavatsky too. Of course, you'll see some similarities, right? And why do we see similarities? Because they all got their shit from the East. They all got their shit. All this occult shit got their shit from the East, from Kemet, Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Little Greece, in India. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. Like, it's so much shit that's actually older than the pyramids. And hell, the pyramids is older than what we've been told. I think Graham Hancock did a whole breakdown on that. Like the Great Giza, the Giza. Hell, there's pyramids in America that's older than the ones in Egypt. They didn't done research on it. Graham Hancock, the Fingerprints of the Gods book, if I'm not mistaken. The Fingerprints of the Gods are one of them where he talking about that shit, and he went and did the what's the name? Like the Sphinx got to be over at least 100,000 years old. The Sphinx itself got to be 100,000 years old. So you got to understand, it was supposedly the whole planet was one landmass at a time. See what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure everybody knows that now, but some people still stuck on that. So appreciate that coming in and dropping that though, Brandon. Damn. And see, and that's the thing about it. They even speak about how the ice age didn't hit the whole planet. The whole planet was going through an ice age, and a certain part over there in Africa was still just goddamn moving around like it wasn't shit. Yeah, Pangea. Yep, Empress Divine Pangea. Let's go. As a term, root race can also refer to the four color divisions of mankind, and also to the 5 stages of human evolution on this globe. An example: the Hyperborean, the Lemurian, the Atlantean. The color division of stages of human evolution also made Manus, for they are many types of Manu. The white race contains not only the most evolved, the Aryan. So here we go. So everybody got their what's the name? Because we know that the Aryans is actually a group of people inside of see that, and that come from Madame Blavatsky right there. Madame Blavatsky got this information about Aryans from where? How do you think she got the swastika? Because I'm looking up at Lord Ganesh right now. He got the swastika on him. So all that Aryan race is the most superior shit. I mean, hey, somebody feels some type of way about that. I understand, but I'm understanding what point of view that she's talking from. That we understand the Aryan, the whole things about the Aryan race is a group of people who come back to inform and bring this information. The masters of the root race, and maybe she's even speaking in a law term of white. And let's see what she's talking about. You see what I'm saying? But let's see. And also you got to look at advance in a different aspect. Because if you're looking at advance as superior or more intellectual or more spiritual, when if you look at advanced in that aspect, as I talked about on my other video, that may not a way to look at it. Because when we look, hold up, let me break this down on what I mean. I need to get this shit clear what I'm trying to say here. Check this out. Because you can get things advanced misinterpreted, right? The Godhead Kether, right? As he go as it goes down in evolutes or emanations, right? Once it get here, it reaches its highest point of evolution. The shit that we call Earth or material universe or low level earth consciousness or whatever the fuck word we use. That's evolution for God. Hope this is reaching someone. That's evolution. So when we talking about evolution, we are talking about the most complex. Complex doesn't it depends on how you look at it. How complexity is. Is complexity bad to you, or do you like overly simplified? Because up here you very simplified to the point that nobody can really describe it. Nobody can experience it and come back. Down here you can describe every goddamn thing. It's very complex. Why? Because it's mixed up with all of this. See what I'm saying? So once you get down to certain races have all these bits and pieces from the other race that have already been here, and it evolves into something new. That's why I say what I say about once we get to talk about the European. You got to understand the European introduced a whole brand new factor into this reality. We all know the fucking history. And we know it's not each and every European person that we see, just like each and every one of us weren't gods or kings and queens of the fucking ancient lands. Each person wasn't. Some of us come from fucking peasantry. We know it. Some of us come from cannibalism. And I'm speaking in human race in general. Some of you motherfuckers people ate people. Some of you motherfuckers people ate the mummies. You know what I'm saying? Some of you motherfuckers slept with your animals and fucked your animals. That's just a reality. Everybody wasn't kings and queens. But if we look at manifestation as something different than our personal interpretation of how we want it to be and how it should be, because we're going to something else here. I'm getting sidetracked, but I hope that reached somebody. Rosa Flame said people still do all that. You fat. People still do all that. That's why they try to demonize each other so we would not be exposed to all the knowledge to make magic. Facts. 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 People still do all that shit. It may let you know where they are as far as evolution. Let's see what she say though. Um So, as the term root races can also refer to the four color divisions of mankind and also to the 5 stages of human evolution in this globe. So, it's 5 stages of evolution. So, you can, damn, Zero, I ain't even see you in the chat, Brody. I ain't even see you in the chat. Appreciate you, Zero, for always standing on motherfucking principle, brother. So, in its 5 stages of evolution, some may be in a later period of evolution than those who have been here for fucking forever. You know, I could have a biases against that, but you know, niggas been here too goddamn long. I don't know about you niggas. I'm ready to get the fuck. But in that sense, also, I'm enjoying what the fuck is going on here because all the happening is happening down here on the manifest reality. But we're going into something new. We're going into something new. We're going into something new. What Bobby always told us, we're going into something new. And no point of trying to go back and be no motherfucking kings and queens. We talking about evolving to a whole nother level of consciousness. The white race contains not only the most evolved, the Aryan, but also the Semites, who were intended to bring yet another ideal to the white race. Thus did the Manu, Melchizedek, prepare the way for Jesus the Christ, and thus did the idea of a Messiah become drafted or grafted into, grafted onto the Semitic tradition. Okay. In the background of all of this is a connection of the Holy Grail. Behind the secret history of Israel moves an archetypal priest of the Atlantean Semitic root race. And owing to certain Atlantean errors, the Jewish section of this race has brought this archetype to the West without themselves being fitted to use it, save for small groups. This is the curse of the Jews and dates from the long before the birth of Jesus Christ. Though had they accepted him, much would have been mitigated. Their theocracy should have grown into a world state, but they would not share with others. Hey, that's what I was finna say, Trav. Grafted. Hold up, because like proving the point here. My bad, y'all. Yeah, that's what I was saying, though, Trav. She barking up that tree. Um, she writes very encrypted too. The Manus of a certain group races are known traditionally, and some are enumerated. Rama was the Manu of the Aryan race. Melchizedek was the Manu of the Chaldean and early Semitic races, in addition to his Atlantean connection. Narada was the Manu of the first Atlantean race. Asurama. Look, Asurama is spelled Asur. That's as Asur or Osar. Let's see what did she say about it though. Was a Manu of the early Lemurian race, which had mingled with the early Atlanteans. And he lived in Atlantis in the earliest days. He was the teacher of the starry wisdom. See, I told you, you got Asur or Asar inside of the Asurama. Damn, I ain't even got this shit showing up for y'all. Oh, there you go, right there. That is it. Hey, y'all don't need to see my face all big. I guess ain't nobody reading no way. Let's see here. How do I get back to how I had this shit? Fuck it, man. Let's just continue reading, y'all. Hold up, y'all. Let me finish reading. Because I can read the comments. We'll fucking be here all day. But I'm gonna get to the comments after this little part. Hold up. The Asur Amaya was a Manu of the earlier Lemurian race, which had mingled with early Atlanteans. And he lived in Atlantis in these earliest days. He was the teacher of the starry wisdom to the what the fuck? Anted Anetid Iluvian and TD Levian and TD Levian. I don't know how to say that. Word was Melchizedek to the post diluvial and was the first astronomer in the was the first astronomer in Atlantis. He worked with and under Naradia, Elucid, who is a lord of one of the wisdom aspects of the Western tradition. See Esoteric orders. I haven't read that. Wayne M saying, are black and scientists involved? Just wondering. The big head scientist, you already know, Wayne, you know, dog, was not only a great human teacher, but also had on the inner planes an aspect manifesting a direct beam from Asuramaya without analogus, but less in degree and origin to the manifestation of the Christ of the Lord Jesus, which was more than an overshadowing. This subject is too complex for further reference here. Means the time before the floods. The time before the floods. The Semites were meant to be priests of the Most High, but only a small section in a latter evolution achieved this in a minor way. The Aryans were magi's and colonizers. The archetypes. So next, now we on to the next ones. Yeah. Dion Fortune talking that shit, ain't she? Dion Fortune talking that motherfucking shit, dog. Hold up. Okay. If you just joining on Instagram, get your ass over to YouTube, or you're missing it. All right. Now we're gonna damn. Hold on. Now we're gonna talk about the archetypes. The DM Fortune talking that shit. The archetypes. The archetypes art. Original patterns or models of divine idea. Such archetypal or archetypal patterns are manifested in various ways. Here we go. One, through the divine or superhuman instructions of certain races or nations on whose lives are based the dramatized rituals and the initiations of the various mysteries. Two, through non-human forms belonging to pre-terrestrial and pre-human types of developments, such as the signs of the zodiac and their actual non-anthropomorphized form. B, so we still in two. We still on the second one, and that was A, the signs of the zodiac, unanthropomorphized version of the zodiac. Then B, macrocosmic symbols related to the microcosm and based upon the essential forces of the universe, such as geometric and phallic ideographs of primordial importance. Talking about yantras. These have passed into human mind and emerge in dream symbolism. But they are older than the human mind. but they are older than the human mind. Remember, I told you the mind is inferior. Let's see. Now, let's read some before. Okay, let me read this. I'm hop in the chat. Microcosmic symbols related to the macrocosm symbols related to the microcosm. And based upon the essential forces of the universe, such geometric and phallic ideographs are primary importance. These have passed into the human mind and emerged. They passed into the human mind and emerge in dream symbolism, but they are older than the human mind. Let's read. Okay. Yep. The lingua. The lingua. Let's see. Trav says, wait. Hold on. Trav say, wait. So if we align with an archetype, we are actually playing into a much bigger story subconsciously. Huh. Damn. You gotta be right, but yeah, that makes sense because you gotta be playing. Hold on, you gotta be playing into this cosmic play. That's why so serious. You know what I'm saying? It's a characteristic in a story, right? It's a characteristic within a story. The cosmic play. Why so fucking serious? Because who you are is pure consciousness. You're not black. You're not white. You're not this. You're not that. You're not none of that. What you are is Brahman. Brahman. Pure awareness. You are the drashta, the observer, the seer. The seer, not the seen. Your mind is seen, and everything that comes down from the mind, all the way down to the physical. That's what you're seeing. Create heaven on earth. You can create it. You can definitely fucking create it. Damn, I'm missing something. My dreams about bears made no sense until one day it dawned on me the way that she's saying these. Oh, okay, yeah, constellations and shit. You see what I'm saying? If that's that's the connection you making. Zero, so yeah, it makes sense. Brahman. Uh-huh. That subconscious is something, ain't it? Nah, for real, bro. That's why all this shit just sitting there. So all this shit just sitting there till we bring it in. Just bring it in. Right, Trav? Because once we think about it, when we talking about the evolution of a species on this planet or man, when we talked about how she talked about how the conscious mind played the background to the ancient man, and the unconscious mind was in the forefront, or the subconscious mind was in the forefront, especially during these Atlantean and Lemurian times, right? The subconscious mind was in the forefront. The conscious mind is a later day development in our species. So you know what we going to, right? What do they say in Top of Shooty? The human physical evolution is done. It's done. Ain't no more evolving the physical body, the physiology. The next stage of evolution is in the mind. Super consciousness. Imagine your subconscious, your unconscious, and your conscious mind being merged. That's tight shit we on, player. We are created by God, like a God, a God. The source ain't got no race, color or sex. So why should we define ourselves to the option they give us? Nah, man. Tap in, tap in. Facts. Alien concepts that we can only make symbols of. Facts. Instagram always hating, man. Instagram don't never want me to goddamn. It's all good. So we done with Instagram. Remove Instagram. I mean, just stop it, motherfucker. Shit, man. Man, just come on, StreamYard. Act like you got some goddamn sense, man. Act like you love me, baby. Some people call it a breakdown of bicameral consciousness. I don't think I heard that. I don't think I heard that term. Yeah, I don't think I heard that term. Bicameral consciousness. I might have to look that up. Let me write that down. B-I-C. That primitive auto consciousness, right? AZWBICAMERAL consciousness. All right, let's see. The traditional names of great archetypal figures are often racial memories. Listen, the traditional names of archetypal figures are often racial memories. Example one, of the instructors and belonging to the different phases of evolution passed through by their groups. They originated with some shadowy teacher who had in ancient times guided some particular group. They should not be confused with the archetypal force of a Manu who worked upon the collective, mainly family of the whole race, which the group was a part of. For example, Rama was the great leader of the Aryan race, but Orpheus, Osiris, Isis, Odin, and Merlin, an example, were instructors of certain Aryan groups, and ancestral memories of them passed into some of the gods and heroes of those groups. For though some of the gods are natural forces, others are memories of prehistoric teachers. Is y'all hearing that? Stock Apocalypse, Reverend of Middle Class. Appreciate you for showing up. I don't know what you're talking about. Add color technology. I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to drop some clarification. Stock Apocalypse, not Apocalypse, but Stock Apocalypse. Did y'all hear what the fuck she just said? Let's read that shit again. Some of these motherfuckers we tapping into, from what she's saying, may actually have been been very ancient people. Let's do this. The traditional names of great archetypal figures are often racial memories of the instructors. You know, first come to mind, Tahuti. They did. Some people say Osiris lived. Let's see. Let's see what she's saying. I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying, man? Because hey, man, we just tapping into the energy, man. Gonna tap into the energy, cuz. Blood, folk. The traditional names of the great archetypal figures are often racial memories, an example of the instructors, and belonging to different phases of evolution passed through. Man, I gotta highlight this whole thing. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold up. Let's see. Hey, Jay Barthel. Appreciate you. Jay Barthel said it was some gems in the back of this motherfucker, and we missed out. I was gonna say, fuck it. We done with that book, but no. Oh, no. Because didn't they say Imhotep rose up to the god level? But the traditional names of the archetypal figures are often racial memories, an example of the instructors, and belong to different phases of evolution passed through by their groups. Different phases of evolution passed through by their groups. Remember, she said it's 5 stages of evolution. They originated with some shadowy teacher who had in ancient times guided some particular group. They should not be confused with the archetypal arche excuse me. They should not be confused with the archetypal force. Here we go, force. They should not be confused with the archetypal force of a Manu who worked upon the collective main family of the whole race of which the group was a part. For example, here we go. For example, Rama was a great leader of the Aryan race, but Orpheus, Osiris, Isis, Odin, and Merlin, etc., were instructors of certain Aryan groups, and ancestral memories of them passed into some of the gods and heroes of the group. Got you. Got you. So what she's saying is these motherfuckers, what she's saying is these aspects of these gods basically played out into an actual person, and they start taking some of these memories and these attributes that these people who lived and who they lined up with this archetypal energy and put it into their story, put it into the story of the gods. For though some of the gods are natural forces, others are memories of prehistoric teachers. Khashoggi, peace, peace, peace. Always showing up. I miss some of these comments back here. Some of the gods are natural forces, others are members of prehistoric teachers. Yes, yes. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Echoes of the past, Bahutas, Bhutas, the elemental combination. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Like the Bible, talking about different leaders in different tribes. Facts. Then we got Ketherwell in here. I just love the new information and approach to be an approach to this kind of evolution. And I would say this is very old information. It just seems new to us, but it's actually old because they get it from somewhere and they just update the terminology. And that's what we do. We updated the terminology as well from what they updated, right? Yeah, I was just skimming too, and now we are getting to it. I'm like, have me, Dion. I wonder if Dion Fortune was a good cook. Hey, because the way she cooking this motherfucker up right now, god damn. This planet is primary. Our physical form requires air, water, and food above all, in that order. That the way we are living in the West poisons all three. I mean, I can agree. The books like move, but as you see, consciousness. Listen, I've been eating that poison shit my whole goddamn life, and it ain't stopping my conscious mind from still evolving or becoming more aware. But nonetheless, I do agree with what you said. The books, like movies, every time you go back, you see something different. Facts, facts. Kasagi and damn, goddamn, I'm missing some shit. Damn, it's a lot of new people showing up too. I'm missing shit. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Because these guys can have experience these lower states, can have experiences in these lower states. We also possess the ability to pass down our memories to our offspring. We have just forgotten how. Oh no, it ain't no forgetting. You pass them down through patterns. Pass them down through patterns. You pass it down through epigenetics. It's an unconscious thing now. You ain't even got to. These memories just get passed down through the collective unconsciousness, right? So it ain't got technically got to be no physical work. Ultimately, the gods and goddesses are components of our soul, which is just different aspects of energies within us. That's right, Andy. AZW says she had a mean wrist. Don Tree says, sheesh. This is complete facts. The only limits we have as people is the limits we put upon ourselves. That inner resistance. Hey, book a consultation. We know how to get past that inner resistance. Remove them limits that you placing, but also understand everything doesn't need to be abundant. Limitations are perfectly fine. You need limitations. You don't need to have everything overly abundant. If you have cancer in your body, you do not want that shit to be abundant. You do not want that shit to be abundant. Let's remember that. Gonna come into myself, into my true self, right in front of these niggas that want to call me crazy. Fuck them. Imagine them not even being there, because all that exists is you anyway. Because they are you too. So please smash that like button. Hit that like button, y'all, if y'all joining. Hit that like button and drop a SOP in the comments, which means stand on principle, which means stand on operating procedure, which means stand on purpose. Yeah, Brandon, I would agree. That means they brought it to the forefront, but it can't go nowhere because it ain't nothing but memory. We ain't nothing but a big stream of fucking data. So even then, you just gotta know. Some people learn how to tap into the subconscious and bring that information to the conscious, which is the work, right? That's the work that we doing as spiritual people, tapping into that subconscious and that unconscious mind and bringing what is useful and appropriate to the front. This particular information is very much top shelf, not easy to properly assimilate in first listen. No, that's 100% true. Like this type shit, I will go back and read. God damn, y'all, I'm missing so many comments. This is why I gotta teach the youth the truth, not that shit they feed us, so they can come up, being the gods and goddesses they are. Hello, all. This is one of the lost tribes of Israel. No disrespect, April Parker. If you're a lost tribes of wisdom, Israel, we particularly delve into like occult information. So I don't want to run you away once you figure out we get to talking occult information, but it all lines up, to be quite honest. So maybe you could be a part of whatever anybody wants to be a part of and still get useful information here. So peace, peace. Thank you for coming in. But I just want you to know that we don't hold susceptible, or not susceptible, but any stake in any particular ideology. Well, I don't. I can't say anybody else don't, but I don't. I would tap into some Hebrew Israelite shit and goddamn it, and get some shit that gives me enlightenment. But everybody who's so called into the occult is not like that. I'm like that. I can pick up the Bible right now and find some cosmic P in it. I'm like that. We are in control of our body, of our bodies. Body listens to the boss, and the boss is you. Very awesome job with helping this awakening. So if you haven't Lady Red, intelligence forming energy. Ah, okay. Please hit the subscribe button. Beloved, please hit the subscribe button. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're here. Let's see. Okay. So next we're going to talk about the facial angels. Facial angels are high beings of archangelic or angelic hierarchy, appointed since the beginning of the world as guardians of certain groups. They might be described as personalized principles of archetypal fire, who worked first with the Manus and then on the withdrawal of the latter. So they worked on the first group that came in and then worked with the last group that left out. Continued in contact with the world as guardians of these principles and of these forces surrounding their earthing, or established in Malkuth. Uh-oh. Such a being is referred to in the biblical phrase, the prince of the powers of Persia, a great racial angel of a former period. Racial angels guide races to their territory, where they shall take root. And as long as a nation remains sufficiently strong, in many senses of the word, the angel is as its higher self, so to speak. So even these angels of whatever group of people that have their higher they angel or whatever archetype that they talk about, that everybody talk about, Muhammad, or maybe that was a bad representation, but you get what I'm trying to say. So scratch that. You get what I'm trying to say. So as long as that race or that group of people stay strong and on power with what they're doing, the angel is in its state of its higher self, so to speak, is what she said. When the nation, when that nation decays, when that Lady Liberty of America, when that nation decays to Lady fucking Liberty, when that nation decays to such an extent that real contact with the angel is not possible, the angel withdraws to a nation more capable of expressing its inner principle he represents. The angels will abandon your motherfucking ass because you ain't standing on principle. That's what she just said. If you ain't standing on the principles in which this angelic force or this angelic program, this angelic fucking damn, what's the word I was just using yesterday? This angelic algorithm, child. This algorithm is no longer in support of you. Choosing. My bitch a choosy lover, never fuck without a rubber. We like it on top of the covers. T.O. shout out to you coming through, standing on motherfucking principles. So as we just found out, these archangels will leave the goddamn group or the country and go where else somebody else is actually standing on the principle that their archangel energy represents, right? Such angels will incorporate in their realm lesser tribal beings of other nations, which become deeply integrated by conquest or otherwise with the original territory. The subject is very complex but will repay study. Conquest on the physical plane does not always triumph over a nation. Angel Parker says, anyone else looking to this little season stuff of the millennial reign? The hidden truths of the missing type, the hidden truths of the missing type hypothesis. No, I haven't heard of that. Oh, it says Satan will be released for a little season, spoken about in Revelations. Uh, the Anima and animus. Well, let's see what that is. Anima and animus. These psychological terms are well defined in textbooks. Okay. In reference should be made to such books. Such reference is especially needed for psychological expressions, many of which are already used widely and inaccurately. All that need be said here is that Young should be read with great attention, since it is probable he knew more than he cared to express plainly. When integration with the higher self draws near, it is possible that the anima or animus may give place to ideal figures of the same sex as the personality, and such figures may even be foreshadowed at a much earlier stage in sensitive people in the higher emotional states. What the fuck did I just read? When integration with a higher self draws near, it is possible when the integration of the higher self, when you integrate with your higher self, it is possible that the anima or animus may give place to ideal figures, of the same sex as the personality. Okay. So it gives place to the ideal figures of the same sex of the personality, and such figures may even be foreshadowed at a much earlier stage in sensitive people in the higher emotional states. Okay, damn, I'm missing some shit. Okay, Trav says Anima and animus. Man seeks his feminine energy. Woman seeks her masculine energy. Okay. So when integrated with a higher self, draws near and draw near, it is possible that the anima or the animus may give place to ideal figures of the same sex as the personality. So when we talking about personality, what did she say? That's the lower self, right? The lower self is the personality. The lower self may give place to figures of the same sex as the personality, right? We project it upon others to fill our needs, or we project it upon ourselves. Better so the divine feminine and divine masculine. Right. Yeah. A lot of shit has in with that seven, right? A lot of shit has in with that seven, Brandon. Wayne M said it was pimps rely on. What you talking about, Wayne? I'm out of context, bro. I'm missing. Y'all probably talking about some shit in the what's the name? Rosa Flame said this is mind blowing. All facts. Okay, let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. It says the shadow dweller. Uh-oh. The shadow dweller. The shadow dweller. The fucking shadow dweller. Let's see. The shadow dweller. The shadow, the dweller on the threshold. The shadow of Jungian psychology should not be confused with the dweller of the threshold. The shadow represents the subconscious material of the present incarnation, of one life only. You hear that? Of one life only. Though naturally it is affected by previous lives. So the shadow, the subconscious mind, is the material of a present incarnation, but which means it may be conditioned. The way your subconscious mind is set up may be conditioned, may be molded by past lives. The facing of the shadow implies the realization of the reality of the subconscious mind and the acceptance of material often at variance with that of the conscious mind. It occurs, therefore, at a comparatively early stage in the integration process, corresponding to the tree of life on the 32nd path, called the well, into your side. We went over the 32nd path. We understand the 32nd path. And the only thing that you can do to get past the 32nd path is acceptance. We are not going to demonize ourselves. We're not going to say there's parts of me that doesn't want me to advance and become a. Every part of yourself wants to integrate with you and help. But you have to dig into that subconscious mind and understand what that subconscious mind and that inner resistance and that your inner demons is trying to do. They want to work with you, but they have been abandoned. This part of you, this shadow part, this is what we call the shadow, has been a part of you since a kid, and it's been molded by past life. You don't have to worry about past life to even get to this point of this higher self. You don't even have to worry about past life. You can just worry about this one and what's stored up in that subconscious that went into the unconscious mind now. There's parts of you that we demonize and say is trying to stop us, the devil and an angel on the shoulder. Yeah, no, that motherfucker is just trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you stagnant. because that's all it know, because you went through some shit in the past, right? You went through some shit in the past, but you never resolved it. So you created a pattern. Now that pattern just reacts to anything that stirs up a certain emotion. And you get to calling it the devil. You get to calling it evil. You get to calling it demons. And these fucking psyops, man, they really know how to get ahead of things. Now, facts, Rosa Flames. This is why it's important to start the microcosmic orbit. To not seek the external. That's what we talking about right there. I ain't even see you come in. Thoth or Thoth. I ain't even see you come in. Zero says, thank you, Manus. Appreciate you, Zero, for always standing on motherfucking principle. Rose of Flame says, yeah, where it go? There we go. These fucking psyops. Dub VT, peace, 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 peace. Cosmic P pushing. In the end, the only enemy is the ignorance of what we truly are. The enemy are the only attachments, and the enemy are the only attachments of don't go within. These goddesses too. Facts. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for showing up. I don't know if you've been subscribed or not, but man, please, man, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you for showing up. Appreciate you for showing up. Infinite Love Tribe. I like that. I like that. The Infinite Love Tribe. Let's see. The dweller on the threshold is used in our terminology, represents the entire past of the individual. All that has gone to make him what he is. It is therefore the aggregate of shadows. I gotta go on. Do not disturb, y'all. Now my computer wanna act slow, like I got a million goddamn programs running or something. But this platform do use a lot of fucking energy. The dweller of the threshold, as used in our terminology, represents the entire past of the individual. All that has gone to make him what he is. It is therefore the aggregate of all his shadows. The facing of the dweller on this threshold is a confrontation, with the entire past, and calls for full acceptance of the past and of all that has gone to make the individual what he is now. It occurs at a late stage in the integration progress, of the integration process. Hear it. On the tree of life, it will correspond with the Hasidic initiation, whose realizations are completed in Daf, where past becomes present. The full implication of the dweller on the threshold is probably not the full implication of the dweller on the threshold is probably not explicitly set out in psychological writings. It should be noted that the integration here referred to is not the minor one, so to speak, of Tipperith, but a much more complete one, which is nowhere fully treated in the published material as far as we know. The dweller of the threshold may be seen in vision by those who have such experiences. Hold up. The dweller of the threshold may be seen in visions by those who have such experiences and should not be mistaken for an angelic or elemental figure of the usual type. It is a manifestation of the aggregate debt in a personalized form, or may arise from an awareness of that debt, the forms varying in accordance with the nature of the debt. This vision or awareness must be encountered before the really deep integration and more advanced spiritual progress can be made. It is possible that it will absorb the unregenerate side of the personality. The unregenerate side of the personality, the renegade image or aspect. And something approaching this modern teaching was depicted by the Egyptians in the figure of the eater of hearts. Terrible as can be the dweller on the threshold to confront, it is yet only an adverse aspect of the higher self. potentially, or absorbed, and can have something divine in its appearance, for it is connected with the suffering of the higher self, which becomes sin to redeem its projections, which becomes sin to redeem its projections. A consideration which merits deep meditation. In short, the dweller of the threshold is the sum effect of the individual's past life, his own adverse character rising out of him into seemingly independent life. Woo! I hope y'all picking up that, because I was just on my story talking about that experience that I had. It was, I was like at a fucking threshold, bro, and it was fucking terrifying. I probably have to come back and talk about that. I need to highlight that though. The dweller of the threshold. The dweller of the threshold. And after I had that experience, so much shit opened up for me, y'all. Yeah, I done talked about it a million goddamn times. Where I seen those three different parts, and those three different parts of me was saying three different goddamn things, and then I was just sitting there observing them, like some dark, what we would call dark parts. You know what I'm saying? Some rejected parts, and all those parts. Just a lot of screaming, a lot of talking, and just a lot of gibberish. And some words I made out, some I didn't, and I was actually observing these three parts of myself. And I felt like I was about to have a fucking heart attack, but I was still conscious and aware to know to slow my heart rate down. So I consciously did some breath work and went outside in my drawers. Hell, I need to check my Instagram stories. Probably a year ago today that happened, because it is January. She just dropped some gems. Hope y'all picked up on that. The Masters. The Masters. Further to previous reference, just as at certain periods the esoteric work in position of individuals in incarnations are assessed, so is the work of the hierarchy assessed in its relation to the greater whole. It should be clearly understood that a master is one whose function relates to the solar logordial evolution, and the master should be realized for what they are and their type of functional power understood. Did you hear that? It should be clearly understood that a master is one whose function relates to the solar logordial evolution. What do we say the logos was? The conditioner, not the creator of the universe, but the conditioner of the universe, because the logos itself is conditioned by the great entity or the unmanifest. It should be clearly understood that a master is one whose function relates to the solar logodial evolution, and the masters should be realized for what they are in their type and their type of functional power understood. In order to function fully in the solar logodial evolution, much cosmic growth has to be made. The stellar initiations. God damn, imagine get what the fuck is the cream rinse? Is that like a cream rinse? Hey, I don't know if you're a troll or not, bro, but that shit funny. If you serious, please explain, because I don't know what the fuck that is. That shit sounds really, really Diddy like. Really, that sounds like some Diddy talk. I don't like when you over there doing that cream rinse, daddy. Scrambling and scraping. Scrambling and scraping over there with that cream rinse on, daddy. It should be clear. Okay, okay. In order to function fully in the solar logodial evolution, much cosmic growth has to be made. The stellar initiation and all their graduations must be completed. Racial symbols, all the way up to animal. The race soul exudes an influence based on an aspect of its character, and this influence can assume an etheric form. It is a kind of totem. Think about the race's totem. the representation, the one thing that represents these different races. Think about some, y'all. As the race develops, this become drop some in the chat if y'all can think of some. As the race develops, this becomes one of its special symbols. The symbol of Britain in this respect originally of the both Celts and Saxons. So the Celtics and the Anglo-Saxons is a white horse. The lion is not a the lion as a symbol is not so early in origin, nor so important to important being of Norman and Harletic. It didn't derive from them, basically what it's saying. Derivation. The white horse is a very ancient symbol, and if considered as development of the Eohippos, has contact with Atlantis. No special posture, such as rampant, etc., is prescribed. The logos, it makes sense because the logos represents what we call Hokmah, which is the spring, like not necessarily springboard, but that's what the blueprint is, right? The whole zodiac signs, right? The whole zodiacal signs, right? Okay. Abel Parker says the leopard represented in Persia. Okay. 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 So you can tell if we get enough information on it, we can tell what archetypal forces they tapping into. Okay, here we go. Archetypal forms in psychology. See also above. Oh shit. Okay. It is possible for the convenience and use to divide types of archetypal forms into one, the macrocosmic archetypes, such as the gods, which are personalizations of great macrocosmic forces. What are the gods? We should know this, but let's read it again. The macrocosmic archetypes, such as the gods, which are personalizations of the great cosmic forces. The microcosmic archetypes dealt with in modern psychology, which are personalizations of the macrocosm in the soul of man. The microcosm archetypes, such as the father, mother, the magician, the wise woman, the teacher, the prostitute, the divine whore. I added a lot of that in there, but but it's the same shit. They're archetypes. Represents the linkage of the developing soul within certain lines of force in the macrocosm, or in other words, the bringing of manhood to God or the gods. Let's read that sentence again. The microcosmic archetypes dealt with in modern psychology, which are personalizations of the macrocosm in the soul of man. The microcosmic archetypes, such as the father, the mother, the magician, the wise woman, etc., represents the linking of the developing soul with certain lines of force in the macrocosm, or in other words, the bringing of the manhood to God or the gods. Parentheses. In this way, behind the masters is a supernal force that may be described as the great sacrifice, in which is linked with the sacrifice god of the tree of life, Tifereth. In addition, the archetypes here mentioned, there exists. What the fuck? In addition to the archetypes here mentioned, there exists what might be called complementary forms of various aspects of the microcosm, such as the angel, the daemon, or the demon, in the distressing type of magical body and soul with elemental essence. Sign of Travis Major's elemental course, variously called the dweller on the threshold and the evil genius. It is possible for these to represent whole groups of families. Whole groups of families, my nigga. But detailed discussion of them here would be too long and difficult for a paper like this. The psychological term of the renegade aspect or the psyche is applicable to them. Ah, the renegade aspect or the psyche is applicable to them. The contrasexy, the consexual image. This is the next one. The consexual image. This is a well-known psychological phenomenon. When recognized for what it truly is, it can be a special link between personality and higher self, being an aspect of the angel of the pillar opposite to the physical sex. That is female for the silver pillar, male for the black pillar. The pillars refer to the composite glyph of the tree of life. So the masculine pillar or the pillar of force, and then a feminine pillar, the pillar of severity. Notes on the Grail, and kindred symbolism. Contacts of power from the inner planes. Contacts of power from the inner planes are received on the physical plane either through a group or through an individual who passes on to a group. Contacts and power from the inner planes are received on the physical plane either through a group or through an individual who passes on to a group, his own contacts made on their behalf. The formal method was the basis of the Old Testament Grail, the Ark. The latter was the basis of the New Testament Grail, the cup or chalice. Both these receptacles have become, damn, why my shit fucked up? Both of these receptacles have become symbols. Yeah, that's what it say. My shit ain't printed right. Symbol. It ain't symbol. I know it's symbols. Okay, both these receptacles have become symbols, as have other forms of speech receptacles. The dish, the bowl, and the stone before these became symbols, they were facts. The ark actually held a substance of, listen, the ark actually held a substance of the interplanes, which made a direct contact between God and the group. Ark of the Covenant. In Atlantis, the cup or bowl was the moon bowl of the old moon in the earliest stages of mankind, in which was a substance in actual contact with the supernal. These substances are mysteries, and indeed a version of what in far latter days was known as the real presence. And from the memories of these have been developed the sacramental rites of various creeds. The finding of the cup, which has been withdrawn from man because of his sin, is behind the Grail legend and with the cup of the actual contact with the innermost rather than the cup as a symbol of that contact appeared to certain persons. Listen, the finding of the cup, which had been withdrawn from man because of his sins, is behind the Grail legend, in which the cup of the actual contact with the innermost rather than the cup as a symbol of the contact appeared to certain persons. What did it represent? What did it represent? What does it represent? There are endless possibilities in meditation on this theme, but much can be pieced together from what has already been said. We think of Melchizedek bringing back the sacramental symbol of Abraham, that his home was on Venus Lucifer, and that there is an old legend that the Grail was fashioned from an emerald from an emerald falling from Lucifer's crown. The cup, however, was the ancient Atlantean contact with God stored within the moon bowl. It did not hold wine in the literal sense. The Lord Jesus, in parentheses, a high priest after the order of Melchizedek, reinstituted it as at their own levels did such savor as Orpheus or Mithra, etc. Behind all this is the secret history of Israel, in the background of which moves the archetypal priest of the Semitic Atlantean root race. God damn. Oh, hey y'all. He made a great point. It's fucking Wednesday, and ain't none of y'all tell me that it's fucking Wednesday. Y'all just showed up for a Colt Sunday service on Monday. Ain't that some shit? Y'all ain't tell me shit, man. Y'all ain't tell me shit. That's fucked up. I'm gonna have to go back and check the comments, y'all. Trying to get through it though. Sundry notes on astrology. The zodiac comes under the influence of the 12 cosmic rays, right? If you read the cosmic doctrine, we know the 12 cosmic rays. And the true zodiacal influence upon the human being dates not from their operating at the moment of the birth of the present incarnation, but from a cosmic grouping in action at the time when the divine spark coming down the plains. She says, see the cosmic doctrine. So let's read that again. The true zodiacal influence upon the human being dates not from their operating at the moment of the date of birth of the present incarnation, but from the cosmic groupings in action at the time when the divine spark coming down the plains was impressed with the special zodiacal force. This force, if truly discerned, will be apparent in the astrological positions of each incarnation. Also, it would be possible to make of the individual influences at work on the spirit a calculation somewhat angulous to that of the positions of the equinoxes at work on the sun. The subject is difficult and calls for expert and specialized knowledge. Each divine spark is respectively influenced by one of the 12 great concepts of truth, which are beyond or which are behind the great rays. Do you hear that? It's a force working behind the zodiac that the zodiac emanates from. Kether? Unmanifest? Kether? Kether? This is the real fundamental. This is the real fundamental astrology, which covers an evolution. The working of the lesser zodiac during one incarnation is trivial by comparison, though its understanding can be very helpful. Two, the zodiac is not so much an imaginary belt as zones or rays of influence touching the earth at certain seasons. It is considered in sets of 4 constellations, the 3 modes of force, the cardinal, the fixed, and the mutable. If you listen to who the OG damn be on Brother Rich show, Myra Moss. She says she just deals with the cardinal and fixed and mutable signs. She been doing this shit so long, that's why I listen to her when she talking about the zodiac. Refer to the 3 rays of life. There are 3 sets of these balance with the 3 rays of destruction. Each zodiacal mode is aligned with one of these rays of life. The rays of life in zodiacal signs equated with them vary with each evolution. The 4 holy creatures of the present evolution did not rank as such before this evolution. Did you hear that? Each zodiacal mode is aligned with one of these rays of life. The rays of life in the zodiacal signs equated with them vary with each evolution. So the current evolution that we're in, we're using scales for Libra. They say you didn't heard before. They used to be something else. They say whichever one of them that shows up just as a man and not an animal actually used to be a donkey. C. Freeman L. Go look at C. Freeman L. OG with this shit. The 4 holy creatures at the present evolution did not rank as such before this evolution, despite the influences they shed. In the next evolution, the 4 mutable signs will be holy. The signs of the zodiac are the mystical basis of the cosmos, not the universe. 3. The sun's passage through the zodiac resembles the gathering of the limbs of Osiris. The sun's passage through the zodiac resembles the gathering of the limbs of Osiris, who was cut into 14 pieces. That is to say, the building into the individuality of the experiences gained from various incarnations. So, what's actually happening as a whole existence is the gathering of the pieces of Osiris, which is mankind in general, humankind in general, manifestation in general, and it's going through picking up all the data. And it finally goes back into the individuality of the experiences gained from various incarnations. They may be considered, these may be considered in one way as types of evolution on the path. Arthur's Knights, the 12 apostles, in similar groupings may be thought of as allegorical figures in this way, as well as historical facts in some instances. If we regard the sun power and the horoscope as having the four aspects of horizon, zenith, sunset, and nadir, and as acting not only the solar sign itself, that on the ascendant, but also through whatever sign or planet is on the cusps of the 10th, 7th, and 4th house, respectfully, we find that this is reflected in the initiate's horoscope by the four greater Egyptian aspects. Listen, Ra, Osiris, Turn, and Kefra. Ra, Osiris, Turn, and Kefra. Who the fuck is Turn? Ra, Osiris, Turn, and Kefra. I don't know about no Egyptian god names. Turn. Turn. Is it Thoth? Mm-hmm. If y'all know who what Turn is, what Egyptian god named Turn, and I know a lot of them guys, and I don't know about Turn. We find that this was reflected in the initiate's horoscopes by the four great Egyptian aspects: Ra, Osiris, Turn, and Kefra. The sun itself is a reflection of Sirius. Venus eventually is transcended in Sophis, which is Sirius, the home of Isis. 4. Evolutionary changes are already beginning in the cosmic spheres. Towards the end of an evolution, which we call yugas, right? Which they call. Tom. Okay. Who the fuck is Turn? Why did they fuck this shit up like that? Evolutionary changes are already beginning in the cosmic spheres. Towards the end of an evolution, covering a vast expanse of time, form itself begins to alter. Form itself begins to alter, as happened at the end of the Atlantean age. So listen, when I told y'all about Atum, Atum, I got it now. But when we was talking about I was trying to bring up that video of Terrence McKenna talking about we transcending this body, this form, right? This body is a form. We transcending this form, maybe going into data, existing as pure fucking data. It's a reason why the internet was like Trav said on last, some of this internet shit was discovered. It's a reason this AI shit is happening. It's a reason. Forms are being transcended. She just said it. I've been saying it with my own conclusion of once we understand what this whole manifest reality is, it's evolving into something different. Some people may see technology and some people may see other races as destroying the planet and destroying whatever we call life. That's because your ass ain't got past the 30-second path yet, understanding that this is what happens. This is just this incarnation that you're getting this understanding. And you heard about so much history. You heard about this and what is this and that. And you heard about that. And you want to go back to old traditions and this and that. That's going to keep your ass stuck. That's what Moses was saying when he got on the top. Like, those who want to come into this part and what's the name, come with me. And those who want to stay down there worshiping the calf, he wasn't really shitting on Hathor in Egypt. It was just showing a mindset of people who still want to be in that stage of evolution. This new evolution coming. If you ready down for it, come on over here to my Gnosis channel, and we doing cosmic P pushing. So let's read what she said again. Evolutionary changes are already beginning in the cosmic spheres towards the end of an evolution, covering the vast expanse of time. Form itself begins to alter, as happened at the end of the Atlantean age. It's at such a time, great cosmic beings take over from those previously in charge, and the outer conditions of the earth may begin to change, largely because of rays or influences from distant stellar forces coming into operation. Facts. He said that could potentially save humanity also. It's so many ways that you can look at this instead of looking at it as something even that's coming destroyed. Yes, the old ways that your ass thinking is being destroyed. That's what's being destroyed. What Aleister Crowley say, die with the dogs of reasoning. Damn, I miss your other Empress Divine, because in those days only women carry water. He meant that that is the age where people will begin to rise in their power. Hey, aliens may not be coming to save us and to make us X-Men. Some people may get an anal probe, but the rest of us, probably not, man. Probably not, J. Hell. Probably not, Rosa Flame. Let's see, y'all. Let's see. Let's work through this thing. Let's work through this motherfucker. Okay. I gotta move through. That's why I ain't reading too many comments, y'all. I gotta move through. I'm actually on a time stamp, and I ain't got that long. So if I don't finish it, y'all just gotta get the goddamn book and read it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna get as far as I can. The higher self, the higher/lower self, contacting and martyrdom. The higher self contacts the lower self in many ways. At first, contacts are rare, and for the once born may happen only once or twice in a lifetime. Hmm. Hmm. Showing as an intuitive awareness before some important event. A martyr is always an initiate in some degree, even without any esoteric experience or training. Think about it. In such a, if y'all here, please hit the like button. And if you do like the comment, just hit the share button and share it to whatever social media platform that works for you. Please screenshot it and tag me if you can. If not, it's okay. I understand. I understand. I understand. But if you can, please show up and help. Especially if you're enjoying the content. Also, um, check out the description if it is within you, greatly appreciated. Donations greatly appreciated in the through Cash App. I know a lot of people don't have Cash App, but if it's that serious, if you still want to send out a donation, hit me on a DM. And there's my Instagrams down there. Social media's down there. Let's go. Okay. At first, contacts are rare, and for the once born, they may happen only once or twice in a lifetime, showing as an intuitive awareness before some important event. A martyr is always an initiate in some degree, even without any esoteric experience or training. In such a type of very deep conviction may be sent down by the higher self, which must be acted on all costs by the lower self if suffering and death is the result. I do have PayPal, J by Hell. Let me see. Damn. What Joe Pat? Damn, who doing some hating? I ain't see that. If it doesn't resonate, maybe you weren't meant to understand. Don't hate. Damn, somebody hating? I missed that. Oh, I guess my PayPal is at one no way. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I ain't used PayPal in a minute. I didn't know how that shit. At the number one no way, J Bothy. I think that's what it is. I'm missing some shit here. Hold on. Damn. Yeah, that's me. That's me, bro. That's it. I love your discreetness. That's my guy. All right, let's continue, y'all. The higher self is not, of course, concerned with what the lower self understands as the rights of religions or politics, but is occupied with some karmic matter to be adjusted by the lower self, by the lower self's death, or by some motive arising out of the cosmic law, quite unknown to the lower self, veiled behind the doctrine or concept. The martyr may well seal with his blood a cause of which in the lower self he is quite unaware. So some people can be that and don't even know they that. The Holy Grail represents the holy water, the feminine aspect of life. What tis book, please, came late. Oh, Thoth, the book is it's in the title, bro. Oh no, it's not. It's not in the title. I'm sorry. Dion Fortune Applied Magic. I'm sorry. It's on the thumbnail. My bad. But it's Dion Fortune Applied Magic. Dion Fortune Applied Magic. Um, yeah, let me go. Cause goddamn keep reading comments. We ain't gonna never get through. The higher self is not, of course, of concern with what the lower self understands as the rights of religions or politics. So the higher self don't give a fuck about religion, don't give a fuck about your politics, don't give a fuck about your sexual gender, don't give a fuck about what you think or don't think about goddamn technology, don't give a fuck about the grass staying green, don't give a fuck about reusable energy. The higher self don't give a fuck about none of that. Please understand that type shit, man. You'll save yourself a lot of goddamn energy of stressing over shit like that. I'm not speaking about a specific, but just that's in general. All right. The glyph of crucifix considered from two aspects. The most important symbol is that of the world soul in its crucifixion. Our Lord what you understand, even though she's an occultist, she was a Christian. Our Lord consecrated on our Lord consecrated or earthed this glyph in his type of death. The world soul, however, is crucified on the cross of the elements, of the four elements, a cross which is continually expanding its arm through evolutionary development and in material matters through scientific research. The elemental cross has to reach its outmost or utmost limits of expansion in the present world and at the same time have each arm in perfect balance with the others. Did you hear that? The micro or the macrocosm mother of sorrows, the great teacher on either side of the world of soul of the elemental cross, makes up this great glyphs. The mother of sorrows, that's Bina, that's Bina, that's Big Mama, that's Prakriti. Huh? I know somebody out there hear me. The macrocosmic mother of sorrows and the great teacher on either side of the world soul on the elemental cross make up this great glyph. Microcosmically, these are represented by Our Lady and Saint John on either side of the cross of Calvary. Huh? Huh? Thus, the dark aspect of Bina or Amma, huh, is a standing figure. The white aspect, Amia, is a seated figure. The hymn, the Sabbat, the Stabat matter, Dolorosa, Dolorosa, Sabbat matter, or mater, Dolorosa, is very significant. Somebody can correct that because I know somebody understands the Hebrew. Is very significant for it is in form and listen, is very significant for it is in form and force a Bina rite, even to its threefold rhythmic structure. We have divine feminine principle showing up. Remember, when we speak about divine feminine, we understand the principle of what it is. It's not a person, it's not a gender, it's not a sex. It's a principle of the cosmos that's to be stood on. That's why this shit is called cosmic P, what we standing on, because we understand the principles. We don't integrate it as a fucking human being or ideology. These are principles which are be to understood. So you understand who you are and how you become and how you play these principles out in your current form. All right. Sorrow in the macrocosm implies realization of the great law, but in the microcosm it implies non-realization. Nevertheless, the deeper the capacity for feeling sorrow, the deeper is the realization eventually achieved. 2. The universe is a logodial thought form. The universe gonna protect me. The universe is a logodial thought form. From in its development is the unfolding as it were. Listen, you got to peep what she said. The universe is a logodial thought form. In its development is the unfolding as it were. The development of the logodial force is the manifest reality, right? In its development, unfolding as it were, of a dream of God. Huh? Even as with man's dream, the supernal dream is interpreted through a cipher of conditions, analogous. Analogous. Hold up, where am I at? Okay, hold up. Even with the man's dream, the supernal dream is interpreted through a cipher of conditions, analogous, with what men call symbols. It's filled with what men call symbols. Look, the cipher of this world is best described as a figure on a cross. The logos is aware of its creation in a summarized form which gradually unfolds its meaning. Images such as this may be called archetypes. archetypes. It does not greatly matter what name is given to the world symbol. It may be termed spirit crucified in matter, or a man on the cross of elements. That's your Jesus, the Christ. That's your Yeshua. That's whatever Christ you want to talk about. It may be aligned with historic events near Jerusalem some 2,000 years ago. Such a symbol is bound eventually to become esoterically connected with each one who achieves in this evolution. Such a symbol is bound eventually to become esoterically connected with each one who achieves in this evolution. The achievement is first made through a redeemer who brings the image of Malkuth. It is finally made by the individual in an, why do you use these words? INAN. So in an individual sense. Once each side of the world soul stands a figure, one is of the Virgin Mother who brings forth in sorrow both to generation and regeneration. The other is the mind of the world soul beside who watches beside it to give it courage and help, and is the symbol of the guides and masters. Who's guiding? Who's giving help? Who's offering information that can help a person to have self realization? Or who's just sitting around here running around talking about conspiracy theories and shit? Christian history has taken Our Lady and St. John as the representatives of a vast cosmic glyph which exited before time. Nevertheless, these representatives have aligned with the glyph in time, become themselves glyphs of the glyphs. Damn. The symbols can become symbols of the symbol. God damn. The coming of the cosmic Christ in the Aquarian age, the return of the redeemed Merlin or Arthur. In the Arthurian figures and the racial spheres refer to the time when man himself would take on the remains of his karma, not dealt with by the last great redeemer. Can somebody drop something in the chat if they heard that? I'm going to read that again. Drop a SOP in the chat if you heard that. SOP in the chat. Hit the like button if you just joining. The coming of the cosmic Christ in the Aquarian age, the return of the redeemed Merlin or Arthur in the Arthurian figures in the racial spheres refer to the time when man himself would take on the remains of his karma, not dealt with by the last great redeemer. Come on, y'all. This is the P. We standing on P. The individual karma, be it understood, the last part of the karma must be fully realized in order that it may be breached. This is why shadow work is important. This is why it's understanding to integrate that resistant part in you, to not call it demons, to not say that it's working against you. This is why it's great to make amends with it. I told you I had a consultation. We had this conversation and we did a session to help that person understand how to integrate that resistance, that past, like that shit that you dealt with in the past as a child that you still don't know unconsciously you fighting against. And you don't understand why you always have these certain emotions when certain events pop up and you steer away and you avoid. This is what we're talking about. The individual's karma. Do we remember what karma is, right? Cause and effect. Not because you do something good happens, something bad's happen. We know good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. We're talking about cause and effect. We're talking about action. You want to understand karma? Go to the people who the word karma comes from. Woo! The coming of the cosmic Christ in the Aquarian age, the return of the redeemed Merlin, Arthur, and Arthurian figures in the racial spheres refer to the time when man himself will take on the remains of his karma not dealt with in the past by the last great redeemer. The individual karma, but it be understood the least part of the karma must the least part of the karma must be fully realized in order that it may be breached. Our Lord took on himself what may be described as the mass balance of the whole evolution and the aspects of individual sin which are clogging the machinery of the universe. The weight of the million years of sin was therefore laid on the divine scapegoat who was breached in the short time we knew of it. This achievement shows the vast importance of realization compared with a relatively slight value of time itself. It is vitally important to understand that it is vitally it is vitally important to understand what realization is. What is she about to say? It is vitally important to understand what realization is and that it has little connection with the physical plane timing. Hopefully, y'all hear that. True realization in its myriad degrees of intensity implies some measure of definite abreaching of karma in the rending of the veil between man and his cosmic origin. Understanding that it's all God, understanding that there are no parts in me that are my enemy, understanding that there are no enemies. What does my name say? And we also understand that no obstacles will apprehend you. Why? Because those obstacles are opportunities. Opportunities for what? For prosperity over pain. That's what No Way Pop stands for. No obstacles will apprehend you. Prosperity over pain. This is realization. You have to come to this realization, not about what white man doing, not about what black man doing, not about what China doing, not about what Trump doing, not about what the Pope doing. Let's read that again. True realization in its merit degree of intensity implies some measure of definite abretion of karma in the rending of the veil between man and his cosmic origin. This veil was interposed in the Lemurian age by the Lemurian sin. Before this sin, in the differentiation of the sexes in evolution, the human being considered of the higher self, the human being consisted of the higher self in touch with the divine spark. There was no personality as we know it. The first projections from the higher self, as we now understand them, were evolved around the ego, created as the resort of the Lemurian shadow. Is y'all hearing it? Cause she dropping shit. Okay, y'all. This gonna be the last part I'm gonna read. After this, bro, y'all gonna have to get the book. Ooh wee. Damn. Y'all gonna have to get the book, y'all. Holy beloved, holy wowzers. The most beautiful person I know. Appreciate you for showing up to the show, Hasaja. I gotta get up off of this. At least by, I don't know, when my favorite person in the world texts me. I got time to go. Not because she texts me, because I got duty to handle. Got some other duties to handle. I just want to try to get as much into this as I could, y'all. Got other duties to handle. I'm on a time. I'm on a time. Notes on madness. Lemurian sin. The Aquarian attitude towards madness will be very different from the Piscean, which has been accompanied by so much shame and embarrassment. It has been considered a terrible thing to have a member of the family in an asylum. But in the Aquarian age, far more people will be treated openly in mental hospitals and will go there of their own free will. Is this not happening in the Aquarian age? Is this not happening? Hold on, I missed what you said, Rosa Flame. I missed something. I missed something. All right. It has been considered a terrible thing to. Oh, yeah, we already read that. Healing in the Aquarian age would be more directed to mental conflicts and troubles rather than physical disease. Is this not what I've been talking about? This is connected with the beginning of the final dissolution of the separateness of the ego and with the understanding of the ring chaos. Remember, damn, I ain't got my card up here to show y'all the ring chaos. But if you read the cosmic doctrine, you know what the ring chaos is. The ring chaos takes things out of existence and send it to the ring past not, back to the unmanifest. Madness implies, listen, here we go. Madness implies a refusal to accept the reality of the ring chaos as a thrust block in the denial of the need to accept and seek change. You will go mad if you don't deal with your inner self and acceptances of what this physical reality is and what you've been through. You have to accept everything you've been through and bring it into alignment with higher self, your principles. That's what SOP stands for, to stand on principles, to bring it in with your morals, not your values, your purpose. You have to go inward. And this, if not, madness implies a refusal to accept the reality of the ring chaos as a thrust block and the denial of the need to accept and seek change. It is a very severe vastation of forces of the holy third Sephra Bina, the Dark Mother, the forces of the Dark Mother, Amma, and the ring and of the ring chaos are one. The dissolution of the ego is the third birth and involves an esoteric, deliberate, and fully controlled going out of one's mind into the cosmic whole. Any refusal to accept the dissolution of the ego will entail mental disorder. For at that stage, if the ego is not obedient to evolutionary law, it could become so inflated that it would burst its boundaries involuntarily and out of all conscious control. Nigga, do you hear me? Do you hear me? It's very important for the times that we're in. It's about the mind. It's not all about being so deep and spiritual and knowing all the every goddamn word and reading better than the next person. Or you know more words, you know more books than the next motherfucker. This is what this shit is about. Get your mind straight, homie. That's why we dealing with the mind over here. Why do you think this is our next book read? Some people thought it was very materialistic, worried about the. You have no idea. We're getting this mind in balance, baby. It might be said that the difference between madness and the third birth is that in madness, the ego bursts its boundaries involuntarily. Do you hear that? The ego bursts its boundaries involuntarily. Bet that shit hurt. And in the third birth, the ego, with knowledge and dedication, is consciously dissolved. Watch my videos. See what we've been talking about over here. We talking about how you got to watch out. Man, Jay Barfield was just talking about how like some of these esoteric or occult motherfuckers who doing teaching and doing this and that, some people, assholes, they filled up with their pride and their ego. But you can tell what stage of their evolution they are, because once you get deep into this, once you get deeper into this spiritual shit, your ego, the more shit you identify with, oh, I'm this, or I'm a that, or I'm a this, or I'm black, or I'm white, and I'm a king, and I'm a queen, and I'm a divine masculine, I'm a divine feminine. Like I'm saying, nothing is wrong with it. How much attachment do you have to that? How much attachment do you have to that? You can tell me something different. You can tell everybody else something different, but on the inside, you know. I got all the right knowledge. Them niggas don't know what they talking about type shit. That type shit, your ego is gonna burst involuntarily. We'll see what happens with that. We have to go within. That's why I fuck with Trav, bro. Like, he ain't filled up with that type of bullshit. He wouldn't extend anything that helps a motherfucker. And I got the same heart. The people on here that's showing up, that constantly show up, they got the same heart. We got the same type of heart. That's why we link like that, because we have the same values. Let's do that again. The third birth is that in madness, the ego bursts its boundaries involuntarily. And in the third birth, the ego with knowledge and dedication is consciously dissolved. There is a conscious, deliberate rending of the veil, and the adepts take up his work as a evolved pan of the greater whole, individual but not separate. You can still be an individual and say who you are, but you're not separate. You understand the oneness of the unity. Everything is God, not something. Not God is in that. Everything is God. The Lemurian shadow was fundamentally the sin of separateness. Remember what we just read about, what she said about the Lemurian shadow became the ego. In the beginning, it was intended that evolution should proceed by the experience of differentiation as a result of the epigenetic factors in the atoms, using terminology from the cosmic doctrine. But the result of the Lemurian sin was a separation of the higher self from the lower vehicles in physical form, having as one of many bad results the loss of memory of the higher states of consciousness. Is this not what Bobby Hemmett been telling us for fucking ever? Well, obviously he ain't telling it now, but we fail from that stage. We entered into a lower vibrational, and that lower vibration brought forth the ego, the conscious mind, right? The divine spark or logotial consciousness could not prevent this, as it could not upon its own plane provide a formative aspect needed for manifestation. The physical plane of manifestation therefore developed ego, right? What I just said, it developed ego consciousness, the separation. The resulting consciousness would have been that of the individualization. Much lies in the understanding and realization of the distance between what would have been the individualization consciousness and what is the ego consciousness or separation consciousness. Man must eventually achieve individualization consciousness, in which the divine spark, higher self, and lower self will all be harmonious, function in the consciousness of the body of Malkuth, be recognized for what it really is, a cell of the body of the earth mother. A basic problem of human evolution as a result of the fall is a conflict in the individual between the elemental and the spiritual aspects of one life. In its several forms, the conflict leads to a kind of schizophrenia in which the elemental life of the person becomes quite a separate existence from the spiritual. Note, this subject is a very deep one. The language used and the ideas conveyed are, as it were, approximations. That is to say, they are intended to lead to an understanding of the subject rather than to give hard and fast definition. The remarks apply also to the glyph of the crucifixion. Generally speaking, such teachings of the tradition were given to help the mind onto its own conclusions and realizations. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. That's what I'm here to do. Help bring that realization to you. That's what you're here to do when I talk to y'all. Help bring realizations to I. This is what we're here to do. That's Christ consciousness. The great God Pan and the final understanding of him is a Hokmah figure, and the solar shout out to man, long live brother Panic. The great God Pan and the final understanding of him is a Hokmah figure in the solar logorial system. He is a symbol that bears relation to the symbol of the serpent that holds his tail in his mouth. In the great God Pan lies the understanding both of the beginning and the ending of the sex force. He represents the rousing of Kundalini, and he also represents that force in the service of the higher magic of wisdom. Listen, the rousing of the Kundalini, and he also represents that force in the service of the higher magic of wisdom. How convenient, no definitions. What are you talking about? Autistic berserker. What are you talking about? No definitions. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Hopefully somebody in the chat can help you. Yet any figure that represents the beginning and the end, yet any figure that represents the beginning and the end conjoined is still a symbol and most eventually fade out to give place. Most must eventually fade out to give place to reality. The reality of the great God Pan can be nothing less than a pan of the solar logos. The saying, all gods are one God, and all the goddesses are one goddesses, and there is one initiator, should be constantly worked on. The one initiator is increasingly realizing as a result of the increasing integration of the higher self and personality, which leads on to the empty room in depth. Therefore, in varying degrees upon different levels, all gods and goddesses represent aspects of the one God, which is both male and female. We all over here know this, though. This ain't nothing new to us. Therefore, in varying degrees, man, I got 22 people, bro. I know I should have 22 likes, at least 20 likes, because 2 people just left. I can't check it, but somebody please tell me we got at least 20 likes. We should at least have 20 likes. Therefore, in varying degrees and upon different levels, all gods and goddesses represent the aspects of one God, which is both male and female. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. There's no separation. It only gets separate down here. And it gets separate down here because of that Lemurian disease, whatever she's talking about. The ego. Oh, Zero said we got 40 likes. Okay. So let me shut up. Sorry. Appreciate y'all. Therefore, in varying degrees upon the levels, all the gods and goddesses represent the aspect of one God, which is both male and female. Non-human forces sometimes overshadow humans and bring in influences of racial groups that of those humans. The various racial groups differ in the influences, hence different types of elementals seen in various countries. Byron is an illustration of one influence by forces more than one racial group. In addition, he had a demonic form of Damien overshadowing his higher self, and this Damien had no opportunity in that incarnation of manifesting, save mainly through the intellect. Revolutionary forces at work in Byron's days were able to use this dynamic daemon to some extent, but more than half remain unexpressed. Thus, there is a sense of something tearing itself to pieces all the time and having to do all it could with the utmost urgency since time was short. The poet died at age 36. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Form in Bina and Yesod, which is the 32nd paragraph, right? Bina represents the concept behind the form, and its archangels represents the intelligence behind the form. Listen, Bina represents the concept behind the form, and its archangels represents the intelligence behind the form. So we understand archangels are intelligences, artificial intelligence in that sense, and not in that sense that we know artificial intelligence. Both is a representation, is a representation. Don't run. The formless builder of form working behind both dark and bright aspects. Yesod represents the etheric mesh of form, healing in the four elements. The Aquarian age is especially concerned with the air healing through the use of the human mind. Remember, we understand the air element goes into the mind. The air healing through the use of the human mind and certain forces of air. Hence, Steiner's references to the value of the mistletoe, which is an air symbol. So put that into your library of correspondences. The mistletoe represents the air symbol. This can be symbolic for the air symbol. In this age, in addition to the special air aspect, the healing values of all four elements should be reestablished and the power of each be realized. In each element, there are harmful as well as healing forces. The great healers of the former ages work mainly through the ray of the sun and upon different levels of that ray. Our Lord used the solar ray by bringing it down through himself unto others. Other solar healers used another level of this ray and brought it into contact with their patient's higher self, whence it approached his personality. They were not, of course, able to contact it in the major degree of force used by our Lord. Archetypes refer also to previous notes. Archetypes, it must be remembered that archetypes, through possessing a certain defined aspect of force, work in phases. Hold up. Archetypes, it must be remembered that archetypes, though possessing a certain defined aspect of force, works in phases. Thus, the three great logorial aspects. Here we go. Love, wisdom, and power. What is power? The ability to facilitate change. Work each in three phases. For example, the wisdom aspect works through wisdom power, and wisdom love. See, this is the air of air, then air of water, then air of fire. You see, elements, elemental spirits, elemental forces. You should get it. If you just joining, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. In the development of an initiate, there may at times appear to be retrogression to a type of manifestation, which was thought to have been left behind. But what really happened is that during initiatory development, each path is retracted upon a higher arc. Do y'all hear that? In the development of an initiate, there may at times appear to be retrogression to a type of manifestation, which was thought to have been left behind. But what really happens is that during this initiatory development, each path is retracted or retraced upon a higher arc. Thus, an archetypal force may again take up the work of the past years, but upon a higher level. The lower curve of a new spiral of evolution corresponds with the ascending curve of the previous spiral. The watchman, or the watcher on the tower, is an archetypal figure sometimes used in the inner planes to help the soul to realize its true destiny. Bro, I don't know how I haven't highlighted every part of this fucking chapter. Honest to God, truth. This shit is more fire than the whole goddamn book. This Dion Fortune get down and dirty. It represents the eternal, indestructible pan of each one, linking the higher self with the divine spark. It recognizes only reality, and therefore its actions seek to destroy all that hinders realization of the soul's destiny. You need to understand, when you tap into this spiritual shit, it don't seek to help you do all this human shit. It seeks only the realization. No, that doesn't mean that you should not do human shit. That's another aspect. That does not mean you should not take care of your family, your kids, your wife, love your woman, love your friends. Buy yourself a nice pair of sneakers. Get yourself a new car. Get an 80-inch screen flat TV. Get a new home to live in. Take trips. That don't mean that you shouldn't do that. But the soul ultimately, even through all those experiences, is leading that soul back up to that higher self. It recognizes only the reality, and therefore it seeks to destroy all that hinders its soul destiny. So if you want to make sure you ain't running into shit that's seeking that will hinder your realization, do something what I have to do in my consultation sessions. We're going to run through and figure out what your values are and what your purpose is. And you need to stay on alignment with your values and your purpose. If you want one of those consultations, hit up the DM on, here you go. You got my YouTube and shit down there. So you need to stay in alignment with that and not get out of alignment with that, because you have these other aspects of your personality that want you to do other shit. And something in you, which is that higher self, is like, no, yeah, no, yeah. Listen to that. You got to listen to that. The temporal part of each one is ultimately destroyed because it is unrecognized by the watchman. The temporal part of each one is ultimately destroyed because it is not because it is unrecognized by the watchman. He is a figure of eternity, immovable, unchanging, belonging to the past, present, and future. Don't it sound like Purusha? Huh? Making them one. He is a death figure related to the abstract mind in causative planes. Horus is sometimes called the Lord of the Aquarian age. Didn't we read? Didn't we read Kenneth Grant books about the new current that's coming in of Horus and Mayat, and how you can hop across the whole goddamn cosmos and spin a web across the cosmos and hop in fully enlightened in the age of Horus and Mayat? When the age of Horus and Mayat comes into whatever manifestation, for lack of a better term, which is a lack of a better term, to get in higher rapport with your higher self. He's a winged, complete being contained within himself. His father Osiris and his mother Isis. Isis and Osiris were one of the primal or primeval days, and were one being. Listen, Isis and Osiris was one primeval being, was one being in the primeval days, and later split into two. Different, dealing with the different ages. We already talked about it. All these motherfuckers at the beginning were Set. The one that they call evil in Egyptian mythology was Set. And those were the pre-dynastic Egyptians who taught that about Set Typhon. Also correlated with Kefra, the beetle god, the dung beetle. Also correlated with motherfucking Shiva. Because those priests went over to East and founded some shit once this new age Egyptian shit came in. Everything was based off of Set at first. He is a winged, complete being contained. Let me hit this vape. He is a winged, complete being contained within himself. His father Osiris and his mother Isis. Isis and Osiris were one being in primeval days and later split into two. Their son represents each on the new ark, joined once more into one being. Thus, Isis and Osiris represents the primal good Lemurian age, and Horus represents the completed Aquarian age, Aquarian version of that age, raised to a spiritual level, hence the wings. Now, here we go. Earthbound souls. I see you, Zero. Om Namah Shivaya. Earthbound souls can broadly be divided into two types. One, the type of soul by reason of karma implications. What the fuck am I talking about? Implications has strong contact with earth conditions. You know these type of souls. In the past following, in the phase following physical death, such a type can easily be drawn back to earth. Vibrations are stronger than the spiritual body of the soul until after the lapse of a certain amount of time in which the spiritual body can be built up for activity of higher and more subtle planes. You can help your ancestors by gaining this information. You can help your ancestors that live within you. Some of those minds get stuck here. That's why you get haunted houses and people have all those experiences. This is one of the reasons why angels attend at a man's death. They protect him during the phase of adjustment to new conditions. Their vibrations help him move into a new mansion. If the soul is drawn back, it is usually due to the weakness in the ethical nature or to a swamping by the earth forces due to special evolutionary karmic factors in which it is involved. Often, in relation to others who still remain on the physical plane, such souls are, are always helped on the inner planes by more evolved human beings as well as angels. I just said it. Often in relation to others who still remain on the physical plane. Huh? Such souls are always helped on the inner planes by more evolved human beings as well as angels. Are you evolving everything, or everything around me evolves? That's a principle I live by. Everything around me evolves. Why? Because as I evolve, everything around me has to evolve. My elementals evolve. My friends, my family, the people that join the live evolve. Y'all come on here, y'all help me fucking evolve. What the fuck? Everything around us evolves to higher states. The strong type of soul who, to suit his own convenience, wills to remain as close as possible to earth condition, refusing to undergo the subjective experiences which will build up a spiritual body. There's people getting stuck in the astral plane. They die and get stuck in that astral plane. I know this because I have a family member who has moved on to that point, but actually finally just now moved on to a different state and phase. It's neither here or there. No point to going there because what? How could I prove that to y'all? I know this to be fact, though. This is about self-realization, though. You did. I'm pretty sure other people have experiences of the same factor. So if you know, you just know. But I'm down here evolving, so everybody has to evolve. The type of soul realizes that without a body, the forces will begin to disintegrate, to diffuse, and that this will mean destruction to his way of life. People die and still have a hold on to this life. Why? Because when you die, you got the same fucking mind. When you die, if you still attached to having a house, you still attached to having a car, you still attached to being a king, you still attached to being black, you still attached to being gay, you still attached to being a Republican, you still attached to Donald Trump, you still attached to Netflix. You're still attached to being a mother. Yes. You're not going to be able to move on because you're not understanding the higher planes. We don't confuse the planes. Causing what is known as hunting, and can, in order to maintain himself, use obsession of animals and creatures of lower development. It is necessary for the adept to deal with such cases, for the will of man is involved. If a case were so severe that the will had to be broken, the result would be disintegration of the human soul. The adepti work to change the will, if at all possible. The unpleasant, frightening, and sometimes dangerous symptoms of hunting are due to the fact that the virtue of his higher grade, this departed human can bring the departed human this departed human being can, for a certain time period, until the higher cosmic forces have built up a wall of pressure to prevent this, manipulate and control the vibrations of earth on a lower type of being. Huh? An inner plane adept is handicapped in his work on this type of condition, and an inner plane adept is handicapped in his work on this type of condition by not having a physical form to work with or through, because the higher forces which are being brought down to build up the wall of pressure that would effectively seal the soul off from earth contacts need to be earth through a physical form. Otherwise, the wall, however strong, lacks roots, and the earthbound soul of great strength will overthrow it. Also, A haunting is fed by fear. For these reasons, the adepti need in such work the strong adept on the physical plane of compassionate understanding. The adepti of the inner plane deal with the cosmic forces in the individuality of a man. The physical plane adepts, cooperation is needed on the lower levels of earth forces and the personality of the man involved. If properly understood, such work has a regenerative effect on all who are in any way involved, evolving everything around us. God reads at a fourth grade level. The Earth and Venus, the Earth The Earth and Venus. The Earth was incarnated in the sphere of Venus at a very early phase. Consequently, there is a contact between Venus and Earth. Next has the rose and the lamp, two great rosicrucian symbols. It is, hold up. Yeah, that's what it says. At a great rosicrucian symbol as its own. Also has the girdle or zone netsack has for more significance than as a sphere of romance. It has more significance than a symbol of romance. Here are found three symbols used by the Rosicrucians, and here is a sphere from which the great Manu brought the three gifts to man. The zone or girdle holds an inner significance of Earth's contact with Venus. The legend of the girdle of Ishtar. The last possession that the goddess was called on to surrender in the underworld during her search for Tammuz must have had deep spiritual meaning. The earth contacted deep spiritual awareness during her Venus phase. And from Venus, spiritual teachings come to Earth in her present phase through the Manu Melchizedek or Melchizedek, whichever one suits you. Among the three Netsak symbols in the mystical Kabbalah, oh, you talk about this one? This one here? That mystical Kabbalah motherfuckers is something else. In those three gifts of the Manu, there is an inner alignment of meaning, though not of form. The lamp is thus aligned with a bestios. I don't know how to say that word. A sebitos. A sebistos. Let's see, y'all. Oh, a heat resistant fiber. Okay. For only when a man can withstand spiritual fire and water, may he hold that lamp in his hand. So as long as you can withstand spiritual fire, which deals with sight, and water deals with emotions, right? Or water also deals with the elemental opus. Opus when you're dealing with the tantric system. Opus, right? And opus deals with taste. May he hold that lamp up in his hand. This is the sphere that contains the lamp with holes and shows forth the flame. The flame is drawn from Hokmah and fanned by Gebra, but shown to earth by Netsak. Netsak is, in one tradition, the source of the Grail, the emerald which fell from Lucifer's crown as he came to earth. Astrology 1. It is said that the first formative forces streamed. Hold up. It is said that the first formative forces streamed upon the earth from the eye of the constellation of Taurus, associated with Aldebaran. 2. In the earliest Lemurian days, certain adepti came to Earth from the planet Jupiter, which contains a secret scheme connected with the Earth. Racial forces in this age, all racial forces are going changes. Racial angels themselves are being influenced by more remote spheres by other cosmic rays. When a man reincarnates, the race to which he is sent is by no means a matter of chance. Listen, when a man reincarnates, the race to which he is sent to is by no means a matter of chance. For the different lessons necessary in the different karmic details to be worked out cannot always be found in a race to which there may be a natural gravitation from past lives. Message. In this fact, we may find an understanding of the traitor, the aggressive pacifist, in such figures who have had probably in the first incarnation links with a race which at the time were legitimate, but now may be out of place. Think about that. Think about that. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. The unevolved man is often swayed to some extent by his former racial angel. The more evolved man realizes that his duty is to his present racial angel. The more evolved man realized that his duty is to his present racial angel, but his past life may enabled him to handle enemy force in wartime with special skill. Races nowadays are less defined through blood. Races nowadays are less defined through blood. They tend to be in categories of language, blood being more in mixed. Did you hear this? Blood being more in mixed. The influences of the territory upon which a race was first settled continue as a subconscious element, or to put it differently, people of the same language fall heir to the forces of the land in which language matured. The blood bond represents the element of fire, to which indeed racial angels also belong. The language bond represents the element of air. There is much to be learnt of this in the study of occultism of speech. She dropping. As time proceeds, we shall tend to draw back to one root race, and Europe is now tending towards this, Britain included. The Russian race tend towards the east to join up with the Mongolian powers via Siberia. Behind the Mongolian powers, remote forces for good working from Tibet, or Tibet, whichever one, very gradually upon Russia. The symbolic formula of race and language is the Tower of Babel. This tower was built out of time and therefore had to be destroyed. It should now be built up, for now we tend rightfully to reach the skies and to have one language. Vanity. Apart from its more easily recognizable manifestation, vanity can be the result of a form of hate and distaste for the personality by an averse aspect of the higher self. In such a case, the personality of earlier days will probably be found to have been spurned by the averse aspect, and the instrument provided for the incarnation refused or it experiences rejection. A kind of hate can be directed all the time by what seems to be the inner levels of the personality against the personality itself, resulting in a slow and insidious form of suicide. Wayne said that's exactly what's happening with Russia right now. Damn. All the pressure points in the human body form the tree of life represented in the Kabbalah. Facts. Flattery or even comfort offered by others are not acceptable to the type of vanity, which can consider only its own perverted reflection. Thus, the perverted opinions of false images or aspect biases all matters concerning that self. Self-love and self-hate are two sides of the same coin. Self-love and self-hate are two sides of the same coin. Woo! Let's see racial angels. Racial angels. These angels are. Let's stop. Let's slow down. Cause this is gonna be the last one right here, y'all. I guess I might as well finish. I might as well finish. It ain't number 2.5 more pages. Okay, let's do it. Racial angels. These angels are evolving somewhat like a higher self of human beings. It had to move on to other stages of development, which in their case means working behind a different race. As with men, the racial angels' main force may focus out of the true alignment with its source, and then very often an evil power will use the racial angels' force even as evil. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Personality will utilize the force of its higher self in wrong ways. Personality will use the force of its higher self in wrong ways. The racial angels may be compared to some extent with a guardian angel connected with the individual. The latter are more embodiments of the Logordial will, split off into an entity attached to each human unit when spiritual differentiation took place. The racial angels are entities holding one of the special aspects of the Manu who first guided the main branch of the race. Thus, the Aryan leader Rama has left aspects of his power in the various Aryan races. The racial angels, when properly evolved, earn a seat at the sidereal round table. Hmm. Ain't that the Vedic astrology? Every now and again, some political measure is introduced which marks this concept again and again. Also, it is found that the seat will not be taken until after a long time. Even a man cannot sit at the round table until he is king of himself. Angels of large and backward races are not at the same stage as angels of the relatively developed nations. Damn. Where my highlighters? God damn. She be talking that shit. There is a lack of cohesion in such racial vehicles, which are normally not welded properly with group mind. In such conditions, a strong and scheming party may enter interpolate a false angel, and this false angel takes the place of the racial guardian, which was not strongly linked up to the group. Where several races are amalgamated into one, the several racial angels are in one aura. Hold up. Where several races are amalgamated into one, the several racial angels are in one aura, and this aura may be regarded as one vast oversoul. In this way, the various feline groups are included in the oversoul or aura of the arch lion or the arch lion. And the earth and the present moon are parts of one oversoul or aura. Uriel and Sandalphon. Uriel is the regent of the element of earth. Sandalphon of the sphere of earth, Malkuth. All right. And they have interlinked relationship, each being regent of a destined aspect of force. Sandalphon rules over the structure of life forms within this planet. Thus, he rules over the evolution of consciousness, of form upon the earth. And so is the ruler of the soul's fire, which is symbolic, which is a symbolic name for the consciousness of atoms. Listen, Uriel rules over the basic forces of Earth itself, particularly the seismic powers, and was connected with this planet before man inhabited it. He has guided Earth's evolution before its form solidified, when it was passing through its fiery and watery stages. He has said to have foretold the Atlantean catalysms, and to have been the teacher of Enoch. Uriel brought the great deluge, or at least administered it to the earth as a severer of great powers. Though his agency, fire, water, and air, are esoterically permitted to work upon earth, at one time Uriel was a regent on the old moon, and some of his power relates, therefore, to the inner earth. The inner earth potencies relate to the old moon, the moon which preceded the present planet, and to pre-Atlantean days, when the human consciousness somewhat of the nature of out when the human consciousness was somewhat of the nature of the absolute of Yesod. So that's the causal plane of Yesod, right? The inner earth is connected with a certain type of physical healing because it contains the first manifestation of the four elements and the primary components of the human body. Raphael and Michael are each at times ascribed to the sun. Yeah. Raphael represent I fuck with Raphael more. There's some shit that I read in the lateral lights though, and it makes sense, but that's another story. Raphael represents the basic forces of the sun as he tends within the sun. Michael represents the solar forces and the aspect of spiritual power. Thus he directs one aspect of the power behind the solar hero, whether god or demigod or human, and representing the supernal fire is in charge of guarding the approaches to consciousness from the infernal fire. He is the ruler over the holy Benai Elohim. An unholy section of these Benai Elohim helped in the black magic of Atlanteans. Endurance. The esoteric concept of endurance as a virtue is not in any way a form of the slave mentality. It is a force of the rocks which cannot be moved and fall and full of awareness of the source of that force Saturn. In a note on animals, the Saturnian evolution of humanity was the golden age for Saturn. Listen, the Saturn evolution of humanity was the golden age for Saturn. For Saturn was the first son of our humanity. Have y'all heard that before? I know y'all have. Not the son behind the sun, but simply the first son. We ain't talking about Sirius. We talking about Saturn actually being the first sun. Matter was then drawn from the planet and used on the other planes, and Saturn became the planet of death and construction. The higher arcs of the dark mother deal with the breaking down and building up of the debris of the universe, i.e., chaos. Huh? We know this. Check. The Eden that was Eden, or the golden age, in its symbolism holds much interest. Saturn was connected with both solar and lunar developments of very remote ages. Its magical metal is lead. To transmute this base metal into gold is a well-known symbolic alchemical operation. The depth of the symbolism lies in the fact that the lead must be turned back into gold. There is a mention in the cosmic doctrine of the star Alpha Centauri. The star Y Gamma of the constellation was first contacted by the logoidal mind when contemplating the beginning of human evolution and form. The higher animals are developments of logoidal experiments, which might have been human had not their oversouls failed to certain points. Damn, the animals could have been human if they oversoul didn't fall to certain points. The four highest types, however, have much part in the design of man. The four holy living creatures. Nevertheless, it was the Centaurus sphere that something of the true design was reached. Hence, the Centaur is a constellation of great import, and the astrological equivalent, if strong in a horoscope, may indicate a special aptitude of understanding of humanity. I don't know how to find that in my chart. Maybe y'all can find that in y'all's. It is easy to see it is easy to see also how the deeply debased use of our knowledge of these matters was a kind of evil inspiration to the Lemurian sinners. It is easy to see how the deeply debased use of knowledge of these matters was a kind of evil inspiration to the Lemurian sinners. Well, the flying say me neither, but I'm gonna look it up. So it's a centaur. Centaur. Oh shit, you got the book. You good. You probably reading along anyway. So archetypes. The Colosine with a cosmos archetype is a very significant act. It means that a spiritual concept received from the logoidal mind becomes an actuality in Malkuth because it is lived out. This concept is first given to humanity in the form of a myth, and a myth may be likened to a dream of the logoidal consciousness. What did I tell y'all? Not what I told y'all, what I learned, really. What I told y'all. None of this. I said it. So hold up. Hold up. Okay, it means that a spiritual concept received from the logoidal mind becomes an actuality in Malkuth because it is lived out. This concept is first given to humanity in the form of a myth, and a myth may be likened to a dream of the logoidal unconscious, which then becomes translated to a projection of human consciousness. Work on an archetype helps a soul, group, or a nation to redeem and assimilate an aspect of itself which had previously either been rejected or projected. Therefore, there are many kinds of archetypes, some dealing with the personality specifically, some with the individuality as well as the universal and logoidal archetypes, which can be applied to groups and nations. It is all part of the process of integration. We're becoming something new. Something that your ancestors had not seen. Something that your ancestors had not seen. Can you accept that? If not, fuck off respectfully. Just fucking with you. But you'll get there. It don't matter. You'll come into exception this life or the next, goddamn it, or the next one, or the next one. One of them, you're gonna come into it. Pendragon. Arthur's symbol of the dragon refers to Lemuria when the constellation Draco held the bold star. It becomes also either the winged serpent of the higher wisdom or the evil serpent, death, change, reincarnation, etc. The system of change, which later became death, was at first stages of withdrawal from the earth plane. Corruption of the physical vehicle had not yet become stereotyped. The physical vehicle itself was hardly physical in the sense in which we know and use the word. Ain't that what Bobby talked about? We wasn't this dense. We wasn't this dense. It wasn't this type of physical earth or this physical body that we existed in. It was on some astral shit. It was a Hold on, here we go. She finna say it. I ain't read this far. This is my first time. The physical vehicle itself was hardly physical in the sense in which we now use the word. It was a densifying, etheric. Man, let me highlight this. Was itself hardly in the sense of which we know the word. It was a densifying, etheric vehicle which could be cast off somewhat like a complete skin, which another human being could then, while use the former occupant, return to the phases of the inner plane life, which till he want. Let me finish highlighting, then I'll finish reading it. That's a long ass sentence, so I'm gonna highlight the whole sentence. I don't give a fuck. Okay, so we know it was a densifying etheric vehicle which could be cast off some. So listen, you can switch and hop in and out of bodies. That's what she's saying. Somewhat like a skin where another human being could then use, while the former occupant returned to the phases of inner plane life till he once more contracted or contacted in realization his own origins on entry into the solar logordial system, passing once more in reverse back up the path of human evolution as it then was. Hopping in and out of etheric bodies at will, nigga. That's what we're going on. Is that why you figure out like Set and Tahuti? You can find them as being the same. Tahuti becomes a monkey and some other shit. Tahuti is a lot of shit. Huh? Such a journey to which the incarnationary being brought its own experience and added its own quota of development was much simpler and shorter than it is now, for we are speaking in the beginnings of human history. Now, the process is a long and incarnate one. For after the ending by physical death of a period of development on the earth, the spirit of man passes along a journey of incarnationary processes in which the evolutionary phase of the higher self are recapitulated again through the previous chains of its development before humanity lived on the present earth. Please tell me y'all heard that shit. This goes on at the same time the personality in higher vehicles recapitulate and absorb in meditation the experiences of the incarnation just ended. All progress follows the law of recapitulation, which involves the great laws of change, transmutation, and sacrifice. Physical I've been saying this shit all goddamn. Recapitulation can be observed in the early stages of human embryo. In the Aquarian age, the side is much more concerned with the redemption and equilibrium. Note on the inner vehicles of man. In the heroic age, the mind did not work in quite the same way that it does today. In the heroic age, the concrete mind was certainly in use and developing, but not so developed as it became later. The conscious mind is something new. Let me highlight that. The conscious mind, the concrete mind, the intellectual mind is something totally new and it's evolving. Is it not? The intellectual mind has created artificial intelligence. Is it not evolving? Or am I just talking out my ass? In the heroic age, the concrete mind was certainly in use and developing, but not nearly so developed as it became later. So are we not still evolving? Motherfuckers want to go back to ancient Egyptian kings and queens or ancient Celtics or ancient what's the name? Or before that, we get back to Atlantis and Lemuria. They wasn't highly evolved. They wasn't as evolved that we were getting. That's what I be trying to tell people. We're evolving from all of that shit. Look at the tree. As far as it goes down, it's evolution. It's evolution. It's evolution. It followed that the great archetypes and the principles behind them work through the etheric body in a manner not possible nowadays. Hence, in tales of those days, there can be discerned in microcosmic grandeur, in a macrocosmic grandeur in the microcosm. The concrete mind played a relatively smaller part in the makeup of the man. The concrete mind played a relatively smaller part in the makeup of a man, but the abstract mind was normally in touch with the thinker of the day. At present, the reverse is the case. The abstract mind has receded, like a hairline, has receded in the uninitiated, generally, has receded in the uninitiated generally, and it is the destiny of the modern man to work as much as, let me finish highlighting. Okay, at the present, the reverse is the case, for the abstract mind has receded in the uninitiated generally, and it is the destiny of the modern man to work as much as may be through his concrete mind. Thus, everything today is necessarily seen in different perspective. Great heroism indeed does not exist today, but does not reflect itself, so to speak, directly upon the etheric form, macrocosmic levels. To the modern mind, for example, the dragging of the body of Hector by Achilles after the latter had slain him seems cruel and dreadful, but it is probable that even the Trojans did not take that view at that time. See? What you calling evil and fucked up nowadays what you calling good and grandiose today may have been some evil shit back then. What we call evil, what we look back and see that there was evil doing all this shit back then, may be looked at as some great shit. It was gigantic revenge on the grand scale of Hector and Achilles, of a revenge in which the oversoul of both the Greeks and the Trojans took part. Thus is drama boom, or thus is drama bomb, or in mystery language, these are rituals built and worked. I seen it, yeah, shapeshifters. All right, we got two last ones, y'all. The Masters, then the Angel Sunderfon. And then we at the end of this motherfucking book. We are done. In the East, especially India, the conditions and atmosphere are much easier to manipulate from the inner planes for the purpose of manifestation. Such manifestations are of the etheric or subtle aspects of matter and being of matter, can be turned physical, but that word was then a meaning somewhat man, make my alarm, y'all. We almost done. Gotta get up out of here. So the East, especially in India, the conditions in the atmosphere are much easier to manipulate the inner planes for purposes of manifestation. Such manifestations are of the etheric or subtle aspects of matter and being of matter, can be turned physical, but that word has then a meaning somewhat different for what is usually understood by it. When the Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky, when the Theosophical Society was inaugurated, the strongest possible manifestations of the inner plane adepti were needed to impress the teaching. By when that had been achieved, the same strength of manifestation was no longer called for. Concerning the incarnations of the inner plane adepti, the question is more complex than usual. Thought in their what? Concerning the incarnations of the inner plane adepti, the question is more complex than usual. Thought and there are differences between the degrees of incarnation. A suitable disciple of a certain master can be used by that master with the constant with the consent, with the consent and cooperation of the higher self of that disciple for a type of incarnation. And the result would differ little from a genuine incarnation, far as long as the master's purpose is required. The incarnating force, however, would be incarnated only temporarily and intermediately. In the personality, thus manifesting, it would not be. Hold up, where we go? In the personality, thus manifesting, it would not be its own true projection. An example of this is of the very highest level is said to be the manifestation during the 3 years of an aspect of the Christ of Lord Jesus Christ. In order to accomplish the great work, the high initiate who manifested the force had other lives on earth directing his own spirit. Please rerun that back again. The Archangel Sandalphon. The Archangel is the guide of the planet Earth, the regent of Malkuth. See the cosmic doctrine. He has guided the Earth since Lemurian days, and many of his relations with Earth figure in mythologies and the myths of certain gods. His development affects humanity somewhat as the evolution of humanity affects the development. Hold up. His development affects humanity somewhat as the evolution of humanity affects the development of Earth. The racial angels are in his special jurisdiction in certain countries, and their influences are in a deep sense the results of his own stages of growth. Pallas Athene, wisdom is virgin and unadulterated. To some extent, it is veiled, for the world could not survive the sight of it naked. The deeper into matter it penetrates, the more must it be shielded, and therefore it is armed for its own protection. It wears a helmet in order that its own fire shall not destroy the brain. It is begotten, not made. It is born of the Father, an example, the divine spark through logordial contact. It bears a sphere and holds all knowledge. In short, it is Pallas Athene. And on her shield is the Gorgon head, veiled or unveiled. My friends, we have now really completed Applied Magic by Dion motherfucking Fortune. Occult Sunday service on a Wednesday, not a Monday. And y'all motherfuckers ain't tell me. So, I appreciate y'all. Y'all showed up again on a motherfucking Wednesday, my dogs, my gals, my girls, my guys and girls. Boom! As Rose of Flame just said. That shit was beautiful, as Zero just said. Appreciate J. Bothell for reminding me and showing me and pointing me to greatness of this chapter 11, because I literally thought it was just a glossary, but that's literally the name of the chapter. I appreciate y'all for showing up, man. As always, what do we always say over here? What do we always say over here? No obstacles will apprehend you. Why? Because there are opportunities. Opportunities for what? For you to prosper over the pain. And as always, we standing on motherfucking principle. What principles? The cosmic principles. We also standing on purpose, standing on our purpose. Our purpose is in alignment with cosmic principles. What else do we understand? Everything that I just said before this is standard operating motherfucking procedure. Y'all niggas don't know nothing about the bankhead bounce. People don't dance no more. All they do is this. All they do is this. All they do is this. People don't dance no more. All they do is this. Bankhead bounce. Bankhead bounce. So, appreciate all y'all for showing up, man. Y'all always coming through, standing on principle with a nigga. If you don't know, now you know. We operating off Cosmic P. And those that showed up for the first time and, you know what I'm saying, trying to come in here talking shit, I appreciate y'all too. God damn it. Y'all are needed. And the ones that's showing love, y'all are needed. So, this Sunday, y'all know we're rereading, right? So y'all done had enough time since since 2 Sundays to get the book. If not, we're gonna have the Khashoggi piece. We're gonna have the PDF up. You know, I get to read and forget the goddamn PDF is sitting up there. So we just put it in 3 hours and 30 minutes, and now we about to give on up out of here, man. Much love, y'all. Appreciate y'all. If y'all ain't tapped in with me, hit the IG and goddamn tap in the DM. You know what I'm saying? Let a nigga know what it is. Much love and appreciation to y'all for always showing up and standing on principle and getting more information that helps evolve you. You, motherfucker. It's about you. Love, y'all. Thank you. Oh, my outro finna play.